The ancient world holds secrets that slip through the cracks of textbooks and museum displays. Hidden beneath layers of accepted history lies evidence that challenges everything we think we know about human civilization. Tonight, we're going to examine traces of something extraordinary, something that may have shaped the very foundations of our modern world without leaving its name behind. Picture this. You're walking through the ruins of an ancient city, running your fingers along stone blocks cut with impossible precision. The official guidebook tells you these walls were built by a known civilization using primitive tools, yet the craftsmanship rivals anything we could produce today. The joints are so tight you can't slide a piece of paper between them. The weight of individual stones reaches hundreds of tons, somehow transported from quarries dozens of miles away. This isn't science fiction. These places exist all around our planet, scattered like pieces of a puzzle no one has ever tried to solve. From the megalithic walls of Peru to the mysterious foundations beneath famous temples, from artifacts that appear thousands of years before they should exist to agricultural techniques that seem to have emerged fully formed without any evolutionary development. The more you look, the more patterns emerge. Similar construction methods appearing simultaneously on opposite sides of the world. Identical symbols carved into stone by cultures that supposedly never met. Navigation techniques that require knowledge of the Earth's curvature being used by people who weren't supposed to understand such concepts. Advanced metallurgy appearing suddenly in regions with no known progression towards such skills. What connects these anomalies isn't immediately obvious, but when you step back and view them as part of a larger tapestry, something remarkable begins to take shape. The possibility that an unknown civilization once walked this earth, leaving fingerprints on every culture that followed. If you find yourself drawn to mysteries that live in the shadows between established fact and forgotten truth, I'd be grateful if you'd consider subscribing. It helps this exploration reach others who might be ready to question the neat timelines we've been taught and wonder what lies beneath the surface of accepted history. The archaeological record is far from complete. Vast regions of our planet remain unexplored, their secrets locked beneath jungle canopies, desert sands, and ocean depths. Even in areas we think we know well, new discoveries constantly force us to revise our understanding. Each year brings findings that push back the dates of human achievement, revealing capabilities we never thought possible for ancient peoples. But here's where it gets interesting. Many of these discoveries don't just expand our timeline, they shatter it completely. Tools made from materials that weren't supposed to exist in certain regions for thousands more years. Architectural techniques that appear suddenly without any evidence of gradual development. Art styles that seem to have been perfected from their very first appearance, with no experimental or learning phases visible in the record. The conventional explanation is usually that we've underestimated ancient peoples, that they were more ingenious than we gave them credit for. And in many cases, that's absolutely true. But sometimes the gap between what we expect and what we find is so enormous that it suggests something else entirely. The possibility that these achievements weren't developed from scratch, but inherited from somewhere else. Consider the mystery of advanced stonework found in the deepest, oldest layers of archaeological sites. At location after location around the world, excavators have found the same puzzling pattern. The newest construction sits on top, clearly identifiable as the work of known cultures. But underneath, forming the foundation, are massive blocks cut and fitted with techniques that seem to belong to a completely different technological tradition. These foundation stones often dwarf anything built above them. Where the upper layers might use blocks weighing a few hundred pounds, the foundations employ stones weighing many tons. Where the newer work is held together with mortar and shows clear tool marks, the older foundations are fitted so precisely they need no binding agent at all. The contrast is so stark, it's as if two entirely different civilizations worked on the same site, separated by vast differences in capability. This pattern appears in South America, where Inca temples sit atop foundations they clearly didn't build. It shows up in the Mediterranean, where classical Greek and Roman structures rest on earlier megalithic work. It's found in Asia, where Buddhist and Hindu temples incorporate much older stone platforms. In each case, the later builders seem to have constructed their monuments on top of existing foundations, either because they couldn't move the massive stones or because they recognized their superiority. The implications are staggering. If these foundations truly predate the civilizations we've credited with building them, then someone else was there first. Someone with knowledge and capabilities that surpassed even the greatest known ancient engineers. Someone who built on a scale and with a precision that we struggle to match even today. But who were they? And why do they appear nowhere in our historical records? The silence surrounding these master builders is perhaps the most mysterious aspect of all. In a world where every pharaoh wanted his name carved in stone for eternity, where kings built monuments to ensure their immortality, these earlier architects left no inscriptions, no statues, no obvious attempts at self-glorification. They built magnificently, then vanished without claiming credit. This absence of ego might actually be a clue. While known ancient civilizations focused on creating monuments to individual rulers, the earlier builders seem to have worked on an entirely different principle. Their constructions were functional rather than commemorative. They built to last, not to impress. They solved engineering problems rather than proclaimed political power. Look at the precision with which these ancient foundations are aligned. Many point to specific astronomical events with an accuracy that requires not just careful observation, but sophisticated mathematical understanding. They track the movements of stars, the precession of the equinoxes, the subtle cycles that govern our planet's relationship with the cosmos. This wasn't primitive sun worship. This was advanced science applied to architecture. The tools required for such work pose another puzzle. Modern engineers examining these sites often struggle to explain how the cuts were made, how the stones were moved, how the precise fits were achieved. Computer modeling suggests that some of the construction techniques would challenge us, even with contemporary equipment. Yet they were accomplished by people working thousands of years ago, supposedly with nothing more sophisticated than copper chisels and rope. Recent analysis, using ground-penetrating radar and other advanced technologies, has revealed even more mysteries. Beneath many famous ancient sites lie geometric patterns, underground chambers, and structural elements that extend far deeper than anyone previously suspected. It's as if the visible monuments are merely the tip of much larger, more complex construction projects. Some of these subsurface features appear to be connected to similar patterns found at sites thousands of miles away. Identical geometric layouts, matching proportions, corresponding alignments. The precision of these correspondences suggests either an impossible series of coincidences or some form of coordinated planning across vast distances. The mystery deepens when we examine the materials themselves. Stone blocks at certain sites show evidence of having been subjected to temperatures far higher than any known ancient metalworking techniques could produce. The mineral structure of some stones has been altered in ways that require industrial-level heat processing. Other blocks show signs of having been cut with tools harder than any metal known to have existed in the ancient world. Chemical analysis has revealed even stranger anomalies. Trace elements that shouldn't exist in certain geographical regions. Isotopic signatures that don't match any known local sources. Metal alloys with compositions that weren't supposed to be possible until the development of modern metallurgy. Each discovery raises new questions about who had access to such advanced materials and techniques. The dating of these anomalous elements often places them far earlier than conventional chronology allows. Radiocarbon dating, thermoluminescence testing, and other scientific methods consistently return ages that predate known civilizations by thousands of years. When multiple independent dating techniques agree, it becomes difficult to dismiss the results as experimental error. These findings force us to confront an uncomfortable possibility: that human civilization might be far older than we've imagined, that the cultures we consider the earliest and most primitive might actually have been rebuilding on the foundations of something much more sophisticated, that our understanding of human progress as a steady upward climb might be fundamentally wrong. Instead of linear development, what if human history follows a different pattern? Cycles of rise and fall, with each iteration building upon the remnants of what came before. Periods of high achievement followed by collapse, leaving only fragments for future generations to discover and interpret. In such a model, the civilizations we know might be recovery phases, impressive in their own right, but still shadows of earlier peaks. This cyclical view of history appears in the mythologies and sacred texts of cultures around the world. From the Hindu concept of cosmic ages to the Greek notion of successive ages of humanity, from Norse Ragnarok to Aztec cycles of creation and destruction. These might not be mere philosophical concepts, but cultural memories of actual historical patterns. The evidence for such cycles exists in the geological record as well. Periods of dramatic climate change, massive volcanic eruptions, asteroid impacts, and other catastrophic events that could have wiped out even advanced civilizations. If human societies had reached high levels of development during stable climatic periods, only to be devastated by global disasters, it would explain both the evidence of ancient sophistication and its sudden disappearance from the record. But even catastrophic events rarely erase everything. Survivors adapt, migrate, carry what knowledge they can to new locations. Over generations, the full context might be lost, but fragments persist. Techniques, symbols, stories, genetic markers, the pieces of a shattered whole, scattered across time and geography, waiting for someone to recognize the pattern they once formed. This brings us to one of the most intriguing aspects of the mystery: the possibility that this unknown civilization didn't simply vanish, but dispersed. That their knowledge, their techniques, their very DNA might have seeded the later cultures we do recognize. That instead of being entirely separate from known history, they might be woven into its very foundation. The threads of this mystery become even more compelling when we examine the languages themselves. Hidden within the words we speak every day are linguistic fossils, remnants of tongues that predate any written record. Philologists have identified root words that appear across language families with no known historical connection. Terms for navigation, astronomy, and advanced crafts that somehow crossed oceans and continents without any documented pathway for their transmission. These linguistic breadcrumbs paint a picture of knowledge flowing between cultures that weren't supposed to have contact. Mathematical concepts appearing simultaneously in civilizations separated by vast distances. Agricultural terms for crops showing up in regions where those plants weren't native. Metallurgical vocabulary emerging in societies that hadn't yet developed those technologies independently. The pattern suggests something remarkable: a source civilization with such extensive reach that fragments of their language embedded themselves in the developing tongues of multiple cultures, not through conquest or colonization, but through something more subtle. Trade, perhaps, or teaching, or simply the natural spread of useful knowledge from a people who had already mastered what others were just beginning to discover. But languages aren't the only carriers of this hidden inheritance. The human body itself holds records that stretch back further than any written history. Recent advances in genetic analysis have revealed population movements and mixtures that don't align with our conventional understanding of ancient migration patterns. DNA signatures that suggest contact between groups we believed were isolated from each other for thousands of years. These genetic traces tell stories of long-distance travel and cultural exchange happening much earlier than previously thought possible. Markers that indicate seafaring peoples reaching continents we didn't think they could navigate to. evidence of sustained contact between populations separated by what should have been insurmountable geographical barriers. The genetic record also reveals what researchers call ghost populations, groups that must have existed at some point in the past because their DNA survives in modern people. Yet we have no direct archaeological or historical evidence of them. These phantom cultures left no cities we can identify, no artifacts we can definitively attribute to them, only the biological proof that they once lived and mingled with the ancestors of people alive today. Some of these ghost populations show up in the most unexpected places. Genetic markers suggesting European ancestry in pre-Columbian American populations. Asian DNA signatures in ancient African remains. Pacific Islander genetics appearing in South American coastal sites thousands of years before any documented transoceanic contact. Each discovery forces us to redraw the map of human movement and interaction. What emerges is a picture far more complex than the simple migration routes taught in schools. Instead of isolated populations developing in complete independence, we see evidence of an interconnected world where knowledge, people, and innovations moved across vast distances with surprising frequency. This global connectivity might explain one of the most persistent puzzles in archaeology. Why do similar innovations appear simultaneously in widely separated regions? The wheel invented independently in multiple locations. Agriculture developing at roughly the same time on different continents. Metalworking techniques emerging in societies with no known contact. Writing systems appearing in various forms across the ancient world within a relatively compressed time frame. The conventional explanation invokes the concept of independent invention, the idea that when human societies reach a certain level of development, they naturally stumble upon the same solutions to similar problems. And undoubtedly, this happens. But the timing and sophistication of some of these parallel developments strain the credibility of pure coincidence. What if these weren't independent inventions at all, but the rediscovery of techniques that had already been perfected by an earlier civilization? What if the sudden appearance of advanced capabilities in multiple locations reflects not innovation, but inheritance? The scattered remnants of a knowledge system being picked up and developed by different cultures as they encountered the fragments. This model would explain not just the timing, but the sophistication. Why certain technologies seem to appear fully formed rather than showing the gradual development we might expect. Why some ancient techniques surpass what we'd consider possible for their supposed technological level. Why archaeological sites sometimes contain their most advanced features in their oldest layers. The evidence for such transmission appears in the archaeological record as what researchers call technological anachronisms, objects or techniques that seem to belong to a different time period entirely. Bronze work appearing in cultures that hadn't yet developed metallurgy. Precision tools found in contexts where only stone implements were thought to exist. Navigation instruments buried in sites predating any known maritime civilizations. These anomalies often get explained away as dating errors or later intrusions. But when they appear consistently across multiple sites and regions, a different picture begins to emerge. One where advanced knowledge existed much earlier than our timelines suggest, carried by people whose identity has been lost to history. The carriers of this knowledge might not have been a single monolithic civilization. Instead, they could have been a network of interconnected groups, each specializing in different aspects of what we might call an advanced technological package. Maritime peoples who understood navigation and long-distance travel. Metallurgists who had mastered the extraction and working of metals. Astronomers who could track celestial cycles with remarkable precision. Engineers who could move and position massive stones with techniques we still don't fully understand. Such specialization would explain why the evidence appears so scattered. Different aspects of their knowledge might have survived in different places, carried by different groups of survivors or inheritors. The complete picture might only emerge when we step back and view all these fragments as pieces of a single, much larger whole. The interconnected nature of ancient knowledge becomes even more apparent when we examine the spread of symbolic systems. Certain geometric patterns, astronomical alignments, and architectural proportions appear across cultures with no known historical connection. The golden ratio, showing up in Egyptian pyramids, Greek temples, and Maya pyramids. Spiral motifs carved into stone on opposite sides of the world. Star maps that correspond between civilizations, separated by oceans and centuries. These symbols often carry more than decorative significance. They encode mathematical relationships, astronomical observations, and engineering principles. The fact that they appear in multiple cultures suggests either an impossible series of coincidences or some form of shared knowledge transmission, a common source from which multiple civilizations drew their understanding of proportion, harmony, and cosmic order. The precision of these correspondences is what makes them so compelling. We're not talking about vague similarities that could be explained by universal human tendencies. These are exact mathematical relationships, specific astronomical alignments, detailed technical specifications that match across vast distances and time periods. The kind of precision that suggests deliberate teaching rather than accidental convergence. But who were the teachers, and why do they remain so elusive? The answer might lie in the nature of their society itself. While the civilizations we know about focused on creating permanent monuments to their power and achievements, this earlier culture might have operated on entirely different principles. Perhaps they were nomadic, carrying their knowledge with them rather than embedding it in fixed locations. Maybe they were deliberately secretive, sharing their techniques selectively and leaving no obvious traces of their presence. Or perhaps their approach to civilization was so different from ours that we simply don't recognize their achievements when we encounter them. We look for pyramids and palaces, inscriptions and artifacts. But what if their greatest works were conceptual rather than physical? Systems of knowledge, methods of observation, techniques for understanding and working with natural forces. Such a civilization might leave traces that are simultaneously everywhere and nowhere, present in every culture they influenced, yet belonging to none of them exclusively. Their legacy would be written not in stone, but in the collective human understanding of mathematics, astronomy, navigation, and engineering. Skills so fundamental that we assume they developed naturally, never questioning where they really came from. The more we examine the evidence, the more this possibility seems not just plausible, but probable. An advanced culture that seeded the development of later civilizations, not through conquest or colonization, but through the quiet transmission of knowledge. Teachers who preferred to remain invisible, content to see their wisdom preserved in the achievements of others. This hidden influence might explain one of the most remarkable features of early civilizations: how quickly they moved from simple agricultural communities to complex societies capable of monumental architecture, sophisticated mathematics, and precise astronomical observation. The speed of this transformation has always puzzled historians. But if these early cultures were building on existing foundations of knowledge rather than starting from scratch, their rapid development becomes much more understandable. The implications extend far beyond archaeology and ancient history. If human civilization is indeed cyclical, if advanced knowledge has been lost and rediscovered multiple times throughout our species' history, then our current technological achievements might not be as unprecedented as we imagine. We might be walking a path that others have traveled before us, rediscovering principles and capabilities that were once common knowledge in an earlier age. This perspective doesn't diminish our accomplishments, but it does place them in a broader context. We are not the first humans to unlock the secrets of the cosmos, to harness the forces of nature, to build on a massive scale. We are the latest in a long line of civilizations, each building upon the foundations left by those who came before, each adding our own contributions to the ever-growing repository of human knowledge and capability. The traces of this hidden influence reveal themselves in ways both subtle and profound. When we examine the development of agriculture across different continents, we find crops appearing in locations thousands of miles from their supposed origins, with no clear pathway for their transmission. Sweet potatoes native to South America somehow reached Polynesia long before any documented contact between these regions. Maize varieties show up in archaeological layers where they shouldn't exist according to conventional timelines. Cotton species with nearly identical genetic markers are found growing on opposite sides of the Pacific Ocean. These botanical mysteries suggest something remarkable. Seeds don't travel such distances on their own. They require human carriers, people who understood not just how to transport them across vast oceanic expanses, but how to cultivate them successfully in entirely new environments. This level of agricultural sophistication implies a depth of knowledge that goes far beyond simple farming techniques. The same pattern appears in metallurgy. Bronze alloys with identical compositions emerge simultaneously in regions that supposedly had no contact with each other. Iron working techniques appear suddenly in various locations without the gradual development we might expect. Most intriguingly, some ancient metalwork displays properties that modern metallurgists struggle to replicate, using methods we still don't fully understand. Consider the Damascus steel of medieval times, renowned for its incredible sharpness and flexibility. The technique for creating this metal was lost for centuries, and only recently have we begun to unravel the sophisticated processes involved. But Damascus steel wasn't the only example of advanced metallurgy in the ancient world. Archaeological sites have yielded metal artifacts with properties that seem impossible given the technological constraints of their time periods. In Peru, ancient goldwork shows evidence of electroplating techniques that weren't officially invented until the 18th century. In India, the famous iron pillar of Delhi has resisted corrosion for over 1,600 years, despite being exposed to the elements. In China, chrome-plated bronze weapons have been found in tombs dating back over 2,000 years. Each discovery forces us to reconsider what we thought was possible in the ancient world. The precision tools required for such advanced metallurgy pose their own puzzles. Stone artifacts have been found with drill holes that show spiral grooves, indicating the use of rotary drilling techniques that create perfectly round holes with smooth walls. Some of these holes penetrate incredibly hard stone to depths that would challenge modern equipment. The tools needed to create such precise work simply don't exist in the archaeological record of the cultures credited with making them. Even more mysterious are the cutting techniques evident in some ancient stonework. Blocks of granite and other extremely hard stones show clean, precise cuts that appear to have been made with tools superior to anything we know these cultures possessed. Some cuts go through the stone at angles that would be difficult to achieve, even with modern diamond-tipped saws. The surfaces are so smooth, they appear almost polished, with no evidence of the chipping or roughness we'd expect from primitive cutting methods. The transportation of these massive stones presents another engineering marvel. At sites around the world, blocks weighing hundreds of tons have been moved from quarries dozens of miles away, then lifted and positioned with incredible precision. The logistics alone boggle the mind. Moving such weights would require sophisticated understanding of leverage, friction, and structural engineering. Recent experiments attempting to replicate these achievements using period-appropriate technology have met with limited success. Even with teams of hundreds of people, modern engineers struggle to move stones a fraction of the size found at ancient sites. The gap between what we think should have been possible and what was actually accomplished grows wider with each attempt at replication. But the mystery extends beyond individual techniques to encompass entire systems of knowledge. Ancient astronomical observations show a level of sophistication that rivals modern understanding. The Maya calculated the length of the solar year to within minutes of our current measurements. The builders of Stonehenge incorporated complex mathematical relationships that demonstrate knowledge of advanced geometry. Egyptian pyramid builders encoded the value of pi and the golden ratio into their constructions with remarkable precision. These achievements required not just isolated discoveries, but comprehensive understanding of mathematical principles, celestial mechanics, and engineering applications. Such knowledge doesn't develop overnight. It represents the accumulated wisdom of generations of careful observation and experimentation. Yet in many cases, this sophisticated understanding appears suddenly in the historical record, without any evidence of the developmental process that should have preceded it. The astronomical alignments found at ancient sites reveal another layer of this mystery. Structures around the world are oriented to track not just the obvious cycles of sun and moon, but subtle phenomena like the precession of the equinoxes. This 26,000-year cycle was supposedly unknown to ancient peoples, yet monuments dating back thousands of years incorporate its effects into their design. The precision of these alignments often exceeds what we'd expect from visual observation alone. Some structures track stellar positions to fractions of a degree, accuracy that suggests the use of sophisticated measuring instruments. While no such devices have been found in archaeological contexts where we'd expect them, their effects are clearly visible in the monuments themselves. The famous Antikythera mechanism, discovered in a shipwreck off the Greek coast, provides a tantalizing glimpse of what might have been possible. This bronze device, dating to around 100 BCE, functions as an analog computer capable of predicting eclipses and planetary positions. Its complexity wasn't matched again until the development of mechanical clocks over 1,000 years later. The mechanism demonstrates that ancient craftsmen possessed far more sophisticated technological capabilities than previously imagined. But the Antikythera mechanism raises as many questions as it answers. Where did the knowledge to create such a device come from? Why don't we find similar mechanisms at other sites? Was this an isolated achievement, or the remnant of a broader technological tradition that has largely vanished from the record? The distribution of advanced knowledge across the ancient world suggests coordinated transmission rather than independent development. Navigation techniques that require understanding of the Earth's spherical nature appear in cultures that weren't supposed to possess such knowledge. Mathematical concepts emerge simultaneously in widely separated regions. Engineering solutions to complex problems show remarkable similarities across vast distances. This pattern of knowledge transmission becomes even more intriguing when we examine the timing. Many advanced techniques appear during specific time periods across multiple cultures, as if waves of information were spreading around the world. The Bronze Age sees simultaneous developments in metallurgy, astronomy, and architecture across Europe, Asia, and parts of Africa. The emergence of writing systems follows similar patterns, with various forms of symbolic representation appearing within relatively narrow time windows. The mechanism for this transmission remains one of the greatest puzzles. How did knowledge travel such distances in an age before modern communication? The conventional answer involves trade routes and cultural exchange, and certainly these played important roles. But the speed and breadth of some transmissions suggest something more systematic was at work. Ancient maps provide tantalizing clues to this puzzle. Cartographic representations from various periods show geographical knowledge that seems impossible for their supposed creators. Coastlines are depicted with accuracy that wouldn't be achieved again until the age of satellite mapping. Remote islands appear in positions that match modern coordinates. Ice-free Antarctic coastlines are shown during periods when the continent should have been completely glaciated, according to our understanding of climate history. The Pari-Reis map of 1513 is perhaps the most famous example. This Ottoman chart shows the coastline of South America with remarkable accuracy, including details that weren't officially mapped until centuries later. The map also appears to depict Antarctica without its ice cover, showing topographical features that weren't confirmed until ground-penetrating radar revealed them in the 20th century. The map's creator, Ottoman Admiral Piri Reis, claimed to have compiled it from over 20 source maps, some of which he described as very ancient. If his account is accurate, then knowledge of global geography existed long before the supposed age of exploration. The question becomes, who created these earlier maps, and how did they acquire such precise geographical information? Similar cartographic anomalies appear in maps from other periods and cultures. Chinese charts show Pacific islands in correct relative positions. Medieval European maps include details of Arctic coastlines. Islamic cartographers depicted trade routes across Africa with accuracy that suggests direct knowledge rather than second-hand reports. The existence of such maps implies not just advanced geographical knowledge, but the maritime capabilities to gather that information. Someone was sailing the world's oceans, mapping coastlines, and recording their discoveries with scientific precision. The fact that this knowledge survived in fragmentary form suggests it was once part of a much more comprehensive understanding of global geography. Navigation itself provides another window into ancient capabilities. Polynesian seafarers crossed thousands of miles of open ocean, using techniques that enabled them to find tiny islands with remarkable consistency. Their methods, based on reading wave patterns, wind directions, and celestial positions, demonstrate sophisticated understanding of oceanic conditions and astronomical relationships. But Polynesian navigation wasn't unique. Viking seafarers reached North America centuries before Columbus, navigating by methods that remain partly mysterious to us. Arab mariners crossed the Indian Ocean with such regularity that trade networks connected East Africa with India, Southeast Asia, and China. Each of these achievements required not just courage and skill, but systematic knowledge of navigation techniques. The tools used for ancient navigation often surpass what we might expect from their supposed technological contexts. The Antikythera mechanism demonstrates one level of sophistication, but other devices hint at even more advanced capabilities. Magnetic compasses appear in Chinese texts centuries before they were supposedly invented. Crystal-based navigation aids are mentioned in Norse sagas. Astrolabes and other astronomical instruments show up in contexts where their creation should have been impossible. These navigation technologies enabled the establishment of trade networks that spanned continents and oceans. Archaeological evidence reveals the movement of goods across distances that challenge our assumptions about ancient commerce. Silk from China reaches Roman archaeological sites. Spices from Southeast Asia appear in European contexts. Precious stones from India show up in Mesopotamian graves. Amber from the Baltic Sea is found in Egyptian tombs. The scale and sophistication of these trade networks suggests organizational capabilities that go far beyond simple merchant exchanges. Coordinating commerce across such distances requires standardized weights and measures, reliable communication systems, and complex financial arrangements. The infrastructure needed to support global trade would have required institutional knowledge and technological capabilities that seem advanced even by modern standards. Yet most of this infrastructure has vanished from the archaeological record. We see the results, the traded goods scattered across ancient sites, but not the systems that made such trade possible. It's as if the organizational framework that connected the ancient world was deliberately dismantled or simply faded away, leaving only traces of its former reach. The disappearance of such capabilities poses one of the most intriguing aspects of this mystery. How does a civilization advanced enough to establish global trade networks, create precision astronomical instruments, and map the world's coastlines simply vanish from history? What could cause such a comprehensive loss of knowledge and capability? Natural disasters provide one possible explanation. Volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, tsunamis, and climate changes have repeatedly devastated human settlements throughout history. The Thera eruption in the Aegean Sea around 1600 BCE affected civilizations across the eastern Mediterranean. The year without a summer in 1816, caused by the Mount Tambora eruption, led to crop failures and social disruption worldwide. Similar events in the distant past could have shattered even the most sophisticated civilizations. But natural disasters alone don't explain the complete erasure of advanced knowledge from the historical record. Information can be preserved, transmitted, and rebuilt, even after catastrophic events. The loss would need to be more comprehensive, affecting not just physical infrastructure, but the very capacity to maintain and transmit complex knowledge systems. The answer might lie in the nature of the civilization itself. If their knowledge was primarily oral rather than written, concentrated in small groups of specialists rather than widely distributed, then the loss of key individuals could trigger a cascade of forgotten skills. Complex technologies require not just technical knowledge, but entire supply chains, institutional support, and cultural frameworks for their maintenance. When these supporting systems collapse, even sophisticated technologies can be lost within a generation or two. We see this pattern in historical examples where advanced capabilities disappeared after political or social disruption. The techniques for creating Roman concrete were lost for centuries. Greek fire, the incendiary weapon of the Byzantine Empire, remains a mystery despite extensive historical documentation of its use. If the unknown civilization that shaped our early development faced similar disruptions on a global scale, their disappearance becomes more understandable. Their knowledge might have survived in fragmentary form, scattered across the cultures they had influenced, but the comprehensive understanding that made their achievements possible could have vanished entirely. This fragmentation would explain why we find traces of advanced knowledge embedded in various ancient cultures, without finding the source civilization itself. Each culture might have preserved different aspects of the original knowledge base, adapting and developing what they retained while losing sight of the broader system from which it came. The legacy of such a civilization wouldn't be found in monuments bearing their names or artifacts displaying their symbols. Instead, it would be woven into the fundamental assumptions and capabilities of every culture that followed. The mathematical principles underlying architecture, the astronomical observations encoded in calendars, the metallurgical techniques that enabled toolmaking, the agricultural methods that supported population growth. These inherited capabilities would seem natural to their recipients, who might assume they had always existed or developed them independently. The true source would fade into prehistory, remembered if at all, only in the vaguest mythological terms. Stories of golden ages, lost paradises, or divine teachers bringing knowledge to humanity. But the evidence suggests this wasn't mythology. The precision of ancient achievements, the global distribution of advanced techniques, the sudden appearance of sophisticated capabilities in multiple cultures simultaneously, all point toward a real historical phenomenon. A civilization whose reach extended far beyond anything we've previously recognized, whose knowledge formed the foundation upon which all later human achievement was built. The implications of this possibility extend far beyond archaeology and ancient history. If human civilization has indeed followed cyclical patterns, if advanced knowledge has been lost and rediscovered multiple times throughout our species' development, then our current understanding of progress and technological development might need fundamental revision. We might not be the first humans to achieve global communication, sophisticated engineering, or scientific understanding of natural laws. We might be the latest iteration in a much longer story, inheritors of knowledge and capabilities that have been developing for far longer than we've imagined. The tools we use, the techniques we employ, the very ways we think about solving complex problems, might all carry the influence of minds that worked thousands of years before written history began. This perspective transforms how we view both our achievements and our responsibilities. We are not just builders of the future, but inheritors of the deep past. The knowledge we carry forward has roots that extend far beyond our current understanding, connections that link us to every human culture that has ever existed. The search for this unknown civilization continues to reveal new evidence, new connections, new possibilities. Each discovery adds another piece to a puzzle whose full scope we're only beginning to grasp. The picture that emerges challenges everything we thought we knew about human history, but it also offers something remarkable: a vision of human potential that extends far beyond what we've dared to imagine. The quest to understand this mystery takes us beyond conventional archaeology into realms where science meets speculation, where hard evidence mingles with tantalizing possibilities. As we dig deeper into the puzzle, patterns begin to emerge that suggest not just influence, but active participation in shaping the world we inherited. Consider the phenomenon of sudden technological leaps that appear across multiple cultures within remarkably compressed timeframes. The development of bronze working, for instance, emerges almost simultaneously across regions separated by thousands of miles, not gradually, not through visible stages of experimentation, but appearing fully formed with sophisticated techniques already perfected. The same pattern repeats with ironworking, with advanced pottery techniques, with complex weaving methods. Each innovation arrives as if downloaded from an external source, rather than developed through the slow process of trial and error we might expect. The recipients of these technologies don't seem to have invented them so much as inherited them, adopting methods whose origins they themselves might not have fully understood. This suggests something profound about the nature of knowledge transmission in the ancient world. Information wasn't just flowing along known trade routes or spreading through documented cultural exchanges. It was being distributed through networks we can barely glimpse, by people whose identities remain hidden behind the achievements they made possible. The distribution patterns reveal something else remarkable. These technological packages didn't spread randomly or haphazardly. They appeared in locations that formed coherent geographical networks, connected by ocean currents, mountain passes, and river systems that would have facilitated long-distance travel. The timing wasn't random either. Innovations appeared during climatic periods that would have made such travel easier, during windows of stability that allowed for sustained contact between distant regions. Maritime archaeology has begun to reveal just how extensive ancient seafaring capabilities really were. Shipwrecks dating back trade networks of staggering complexity. Bronze thousands of years contain cargo from multiple continents, revealing from Scandinavia to the Middle East, precious stones from India to Egypt. Age vessels carried tin from Cornwall to the Mediterranean, amber. The sophistication of these operations required not just individual voyages, but systematic coordination across vast distances. The ships themselves demonstrate technological capabilities that challenge our assumptions about ancient engineering. Vessels capable of carrying hundreds of tons of cargo across open oceans, built with techniques that ensured structural integrity under extreme conditions. The knowledge required to design and construct such craft goes far beyond simple boat building. It requires understanding of hydrodynamics, materials science, and navigation that rivals modern expertise. But perhaps most intriguingly, some of these ancient vessels show evidence of design principles that wouldn't be rediscovered until much later periods. Hull shapes optimized for specific oceanic conditions, sail configurations that maximize efficiency in particular wind patterns, cargo storage systems that distribute weight for optimal stability. These weren't fortunate accidents or lucky guesses. They represent systematic understanding of maritime engineering principles. The navigational tools found on these vessels tell their own story. Instruments for measuring stellar positions, devices for calculating latitude, mechanisms for tracking time during long voyages. Some of these tools display craftsmanship and precision that surpasses what we'd expect from their supposed creators. Others incorporate mathematical principles that weren't officially known until centuries later. The existence of such sophisticated navigation equipment raises inevitable questions about the maps these ancient mariners were using. If they possessed instruments capable of precise position finding, they must have had charts accurate enough to make such precision meaningful. This brings us back to the cartographic mysteries we touched on earlier, but with new implications. The ancient maps that survive today might not be isolated curiosities, but fragments of a comprehensive global mapping project. a systematic effort to chart the world's coastlines, islands, and oceanic features with scientific precision. The scale of such an undertaking would have required resources, organization, and coordination that goes far beyond anything we associate with ancient civilizations. Yet the evidence suggests exactly such a project was completed. Coastlines mapped with accuracy that wouldn't be achieved again until the satellite age. Ocean depths recorded with precision that rivals modern sonar surveys. Weather patterns documented with understanding that demonstrates long-term observation and analysis. The people responsible for this mapping project would have needed to maintain permanent bases at strategic locations around the globe, islands that could serve as waypoints for long voyages, coastal settlements that could provide supplies and repairs, observation posts for tracking seasonal changes and celestial phenomena. The infrastructure required would have been enormous, yet most of it has vanished from the archaeological record. This disappearance might not be accidental. If this civilization valued knowledge over monuments, function over display, they might have built their installations to be temporary rather than permanent. Structures designed to be dismantled when no longer needed, materials recycled for other purposes, sites abandoned without leaving obvious traces of their former importance. The very invisibility of this infrastructure might have been intentional. A civilization that operated through influence rather than conquest would have good reason to avoid creating obvious markers of their presence. Their power came from knowledge, not territory. Their legacy was meant to live in the capabilities they transmitted, not the monuments they left behind. This approach would explain one of the most puzzling aspects of the mystery. Why do we find so much evidence of advanced capabilities spread across ancient cultures, yet so little evidence of the people who originally possessed those capabilities? The answer might be that they never intended to be found. Their goal was to seed human development, not to claim credit for it. Such a philosophy would represent a completely different approach to civilization than any we recognize from recorded history. Known ancient cultures built monuments to ensure their immortality, created inscriptions to record their achievements, established dynasties to perpetuate their power. This unknown civilization seems to have done the opposite, working to ensure their own invisibility, while making their influence felt across the entire ancient world. The psychological profile of such a people would be fascinating to explore. What motivates a culture to share its greatest achievements while deliberately obscuring its own identity? What kind of society values the success of others over recognition for itself? The answers might lie in their understanding of knowledge itself. Perhaps they recognize that information wants to be free, that hoarding advanced capabilities ultimately weakens rather than strengthens a civilization. By distributing their knowledge widely, they ensured its survival, even if their own culture faced catastrophic challenges. They created a form of immortality through influence rather than through monuments. This strategy would have required remarkable confidence in their own abilities. They must have been certain that their knowledge was so valuable, so transformative, that it would reshape every culture it touched. And they appear to have been right. The fingerprints of their influence can be found in virtually every aspect of human development from that period forward. But such a strategy also required accepting that their contributions might never be acknowledged, that future generations might attribute their innovations to local heroes or divine intervention. They chose to become the invisible foundation upon which human civilization was built, content to remain hidden as long as their knowledge lived on. The evidence suggests they succeeded beyond even their own ambitious goals. The techniques they developed, the principles they discover thousands of years after their apparent disappearance, the methods they perfected continue to influence human achievement, use mathematical relationships they established, employ engineering principles they pioneered, follow astronomical observations they recorded. Their influence extends even into areas we might not expect. Modern analysis of ancient art reveals sophisticated understanding of proportion, perspective, and color theory that appears suddenly in various cultures without apparent developmental phases. Musical scales and harmonic relationships show up across widely separated traditions with precision that suggests shared mathematical foundations. Even cooking techniques and food preservation methods display levels of sophistication that seem to arrive fully formed in the archaeological record. The depth and breadth of this influence suggests something remarkable about the scope of their knowledge. They weren't just advanced in one or two specialized areas, but possessed comprehensive understanding across virtually every field of human endeavor. Mathematics, astronomy, engineering, metallurgy, agriculture, navigation, architecture, medicine, chemistry. Their expertise seems to have encompassed the full range of practical and theoretical knowledge. Such comprehensive capability would have required not just individual genius, but institutional knowledge. Educational systems capable of preserving and transmitting complex information across generations. Research methods for extending understanding into new areas. Quality control systems for ensuring accuracy and reliability of their discoveries. The organizational requirements for maintaining such a knowledge base would have been enormous. Specialists in each field working together to solve complex problems. Libraries or archives for storing accumulated information. Communication networks for sharing discoveries across their global operations. Training programs for preparing new generations of knowledge keepers. Yet none of this institutional infrastructure appears in the archaeological record where we might expect to find it. The absence is so complete that it suggests deliberate concealment rather than accidental loss. Perhaps they understood that visible institutions make tempting targets for conquest or destruction. By keeping their knowledge mobile and distributed, they made themselves immune to the kinds of catastrophic losses that befell other ancient civilizations. This invisibility extends to their social and political structures as well. We find no evidence of kings or emperors, no hierarchical monuments, no obvious markers of social stratification. Their society seems to have operated on principles completely different from the power-based structures that characterized later civilizations. Perhaps they organized around knowledge rather than authority, with leadership based on expertise rather than heredity or conquest. Such a system would be inherently more flexible and adaptive than traditional hierarchies. It would also be more difficult for outsiders to understand or infiltrate, since the sources of power wouldn't be obvious or easily targeted. The gender dynamics of such a society would be particularly intriguing. Many ancient cultures that we do know about were heavily patriarchal, with women excluded from positions of authority and specialized knowledge. But a civilization organized around intellectual capability, rather than physical dominance, might have developed very different social structures. The equal participation of all capable individuals, regardless of gender, would have represented a massive advantage in terms of available human resources and diverse perspectives. Their religious or philosophical beliefs remain equally mysterious, but we can infer some possibilities from their apparent values. A civilization that chose influence over recognition, knowledge over power, long-term impact over immediate gratification, must have operated from a very different worldview than we're accustomed to seeing in ancient cultures. They might have seen themselves as gardeners of human potential, working to create conditions for the flourishing of capabilities they would never personally benefit from. Their reward would come not from personal aggrandizement, but from witnessing the success of those they had helped. Such a philosophy would require remarkable selflessness and extraordinary confidence in the value of their contributions. The timescales on which they operated would have been vast by the standards of individual human lives. Their projects might have been planned to unfold over centuries or millennia, with each generation contributing to goals they would never see completed. This long-term perspective would have enabled them to undertake initiatives impossible for cultures focused on immediate results. Their understanding of human nature must have been profound. To successfully influence so many different cultures across such vast distances and time periods, they would have needed deep insight into how societies develop, how knowledge spreads, how innovations are adopted and adapted. They were practicing a form of cultural engineering on a global scale. The techniques they use for this influence remain largely mysterious, but we can see their effects clearly enough. Knowledge appeared where it was needed, when it was needed, in forms that local cultures could understand and implement. The precision of this distribution suggests careful study of each recipient culture, tailored approaches designed for maximum effectiveness. This level of cultural sensitivity would have required extensive observation and analysis. They must have maintained networks of people dedicated to studying local conditions, identifying needs and opportunities, determining the optimal timing and methods for knowledge transfer. The intelligence gathering and analysis capabilities required would have rivaled those of modern institutions, but perhaps their greatest achievement was knowing when to withdraw. As the cultures they had influenced grew stronger and more capable, the unknown civilization seems to have gradually reduced their direct involvement. They avoided the mistake of creating dependency, instead fostering genuine independence and self-reliance in those they had helped. This withdrawal might explain why their direct influence becomes less visible in later periods, even as their indirect effects continue to shape human development. They had accomplished their primary goal of establishing self-sustaining centers of advanced knowledge around the globe. Their continued direct involvement might actually have hindered the natural development of these emerging civilizations. The legacy they left behind was more valuable than any monument or treasure. They had fundamentally altered the trajectory of human development, ensuring that the capabilities they had developed would continue to grow and spread long after their own departure from the historical stage. In choosing invisibility, they achieved a form of immortality that no pharaoh or emperor could match. Their story reminds us that the most profound influences on human history might not be the ones that make the loudest noise or leave the most obvious traces. Sometimes the greatest achievements come from those who work quietly behind the scenes, content to let others receive the credit as long as the work gets done. As we continue to uncover evidence of their influence, we're not just learning about the past, we're discovering possibilities for our own future. The model they provided suggests alternative approaches to civilization, different ways of thinking about progress, power, and the transmission of knowledge across generations. Their example challenges us to consider what we want our own legacy to be. Will we be remembered for the monuments we built to ourselves, or for the capabilities we helped others develop? Will our influence be measured by the territory we controlled, or by the knowledge we shared? The unknown civilization that shaped our world chose a path that led to invisibility in history, but immortality in influence. Their fingerprints remain on every human achievement that followed, their wisdom embedded in the very foundations of our technological and intellectual development. Human genetics tells a story that extends far beyond what we can read in ancient bones or artifacts. Within the cells of every person alive today lies a molecular library containing the complete history of our species' migrations, encounters, and evolutionary adaptations. This biological archive has begun to reveal connections between ancient populations that challenge our conventional understanding of human movement and cultural exchange. Recent advances in DNA analysis have uncovered what geneticists call ghost populations, groups of people who must have existed in the past because their genetic signatures survive in modern humans, yet leave no clear archaeological trace. These phantom cultures appear to have mixed with the ancestors of current populations, leaving behind biological evidence of their existence while remaining historically invisible. Some of these ghost populations show genetic characteristics that suggest they were quite distinct from the surrounding groups of their time. Their DNA signatures indicate different migration patterns, different adaptations to environmental conditions, and different demographic histories. In several cases, these mysterious groups seem to have had outsized influence on later populations, despite apparently being relatively small in number. The geographical distribution of these genetic markers tells its own story. Traces of the ghost populations appear in widely scattered modern communities, often in locations separated by thousands of miles of ocean or difficult terrain. The pattern suggests either remarkable mobility on the part of these ancient people, or the existence of contact networks far more extensive than anything documented in conventional histories. One particularly intriguing aspect of this genetic evidence is its timing. Many of these mysterious population mixtures appear to have occurred during specific periods that correspond to major technological and cultural developments in the archaeological record. The genetic exchanges seem to coincide with the appearance of advanced capabilities in various ancient civilizations. This correlation might not be coincidental. If the ghost populations were the carriers of advanced knowledge and techniques, their genetic integration with local populations might mark the moments when this knowledge was transmitted. The biological mixing would represent not just demographic events, but episodes of cultural and technological transfer. The genetic evidence also reveals something remarkable about the scale of ancient human movement. DNA analysis shows that people were traveling much greater distances, much earlier than previously believed possible. Ocean crossings that we thought didn't happen until historical times apparently occurred thousands of years earlier. Continental migrations that seemed impossible without modern transportation actually took place repeatedly throughout prehistory. These long-distance movements weren't isolated events involving small groups of adventurous individuals. The genetic patterns suggest sustained contact over extended periods, with ongoing exchange between populations separated by what should have been insurmountable geographical barriers. Someone was maintaining regular communication and transportation networks across the ancient world. The sophistication required for such networks would have been extraordinary. Navigation techniques capable of reliably crossing open oceans, shipbuilding technologies that could handle extended voyages in challenging conditions, supply systems that could support travelers during journeys lasting months, communication methods that could coordinate activities across vast distances. Most remarkably, the genetic evidence suggests these networks operated for thousands of years, maintaining connections between distant populations across dozens of generations. The stability and longevity of such systems would have required institutional knowledge and organizational capabilities far beyond anything we associate with prehistoric cultures. The biological archive also preserves evidence of adaptation to specific environments that reveals something important about ancient lifestyles. Certain populations show genetic modifications for high-altitude living, deep-sea diving, extreme cold tolerance, or disease resistance that would have taken many generations to develop. These adaptations suggest that people were not just visiting different environments, but establishing permanent settlements and thriving in conditions that challenged human physiology. Such environmental mastery would have provided significant advantages for a culture operating across diverse geographical regions. The ability to establish viable communities in Arctic conditions, tropical rainforests, high mountains, and isolated islands would have given them access to resources and strategic positions unavailable to less adaptable groups. The genetic record also contains evidence of deliberate selection for certain traits that might have enhanced the capabilities we've been discussing. Enhanced cognitive abilities, improved visual acuity, better spatial reasoning, increased memory capacity. While such traits could have developed naturally, their distribution patterns suggest they might have been actively encouraged within certain populations. This raises fascinating questions about the social structures and values of the cultures responsible for these genetic patterns. Were they actively working to enhance human capabilities? Did they understand enough about heredity to influence the development of specific traits? The implications would be profound for our understanding of ancient knowledge and intentionality. The disappearance of the ghost populations from the genetic record is almost as mysterious as their original appearance. In most cases, their distinctive markers fade from the record gradually over time, suggesting they were absorbed into larger populations rather than suddenly eliminated. This pattern fits with the idea of a civilization that chose to merge with others rather than maintain separate identity. But the timing of this genetic fade-out corresponds with other evidence we've discussed about the disappearance of advanced capabilities from the archaeological record. The same periods that saw the loss of sophisticated technologies and knowledge systems also witnessed the dissolution of the distinctive genetic signatures associated with the ghost populations. This correlation suggests that the carriers of advanced knowledge and the genetically distinct populations might have been the same groups. As their unique cultural and technological contributions were absorbed into broader human development, their genetic distinctiveness also dissolved into the general population. They became invisible, both culturally and biologically. The genetic legacy they left behind continues to influence human development in subtle but important ways. Certain cognitive and physical capabilities that appear in modern populations might trace back to genetic contributions from these vanished groups. Our capacity for complex problem-solving, spatial reasoning, pattern recognition, and long-term planning might all carry enhancement from ancient genetic mixing. This biological inheritance would represent another layer of the invisible influence we've been tracking throughout this investigation. Just as their technological and cultural contributions became embedded in human civilization without obvious attribution, their genetic gifts became woven into the human gene pool without clear recognition of their source. The implications extend to our understanding of human potential itself. If these ancient populations had succeeded in enhancing certain capabilities through selective breeding or environmental adaptation, then the limits we assume for human performance might be artificially low. We might be capable of achievements that seem impossible simply because we've forgotten our own genetic heritage. Modern population genetics continues to reveal new connections and patterns that expand our understanding of ancient human movement and interaction. Each new study seems to push back the dates for major migrations, extend the reach of ancient trade networks, and reveal previously unknown episodes of cultural contact. The picture that emerges shows a prehistoric world far more connected and dynamic than we ever imagined. This connectivity would have provided the infrastructure necessary for the global influence we've been documenting throughout our investigation. The biological evidence supports the archaeological and technological evidence in painting a picture of ancient human civilization that was sophisticated, far-reaching, and systematically organized on a scale that challenges all our conventional assumptions. The genetic archive preserved in modern humans might be our most reliable record of this lost chapter in human history. Unlike artifacts that can be misinterpreted or sites that can be destroyed, the biological evidence is written into our very being. It travels with us wherever we go, a permanent reminder of the complex and remarkable history that shaped our species. As we continue to develop more sophisticated tools for reading this genetic record, we may discover even more evidence of the unknown civilization that shaped our world. The DNA of every person alive today is a potential source of information about ancient peoples, ancient migrations, and ancient achievements that left no other trace. The story written in our genes suggests that human history is far richer, more complex, and more remarkable than we've previously understood. We are not just the products of known civilizations and documented migrations. We carry within ourselves the legacy of peoples who chose to remain invisible, who valued influence over recognition, and who shaped the development of our entire species through contributions we're only now beginning to recognize. Their greatest monument isn't built of stone or metal. It's built of DNA, preserved in the cells of billions of people who carry forward their genetic heritage without knowing its source. In choosing biological immortality over historical fame, they ensured that their influence would literally become part of what makes us human. The investigation continues, with each new discovery adding pieces to a puzzle whose scope seems to expand rather than contract as we learn more. The unknown civilization that shaped our world may have succeeded beyond even their own ambitious goals. They didn't just influence human development. They became permanently woven into the fabric of human existence itself. The threads of evidence we've been following converge on a startling realization. This unknown civilization didn't just influence our past, they fundamentally altered the trajectory of human consciousness itself. Recent discoveries in neuroscience and cognitive archaeology suggest that the way we think, process information, and understand reality may have been shaped by encounters with minds operating on entirely different principles. Ancient skulls from sites around the world show cranial modifications that go beyond simple cultural practices. These alterations appear designed to enhance specific cognitive functions, expanding brain capacity in regions associated with spatial reasoning, pattern recognition, and what modern science calls systems thinking. The modifications show up in elite burials across cultures that supposedly never interacted, suggesting a shared understanding of human neurological potential. But perhaps more intriguingly, analysis of ancient brain tissue preserved in bog environments and permafrost reveals neural pathways that seem overdeveloped compared to modern human brains. These preserved specimens show enhanced connections in areas responsible for mathematical processing, astronomical calculation, and three-dimensional visualization. It's as if certain populations possessed cognitive capabilities that exceed our current baseline. The implications ripple through everything we think we understand about human intelligence. Modern cognitive testing of populations in remote areas where ancient bloodlines remain relatively isolated reveals abilities that challenge our assumptions about normal human capacity. Mathematical intuition that operates without conscious calculation. Navigation skills that function like biological GPS systems. Pattern recognition that borders on what we might call precognition. These enhanced capabilities aren't distributed randomly. They cluster in regions where we found other evidence of the unknown civilization's influence. Coastal populations with extraordinary seafaring traditions. Mountain communities with sophisticated astronomical knowledge. Desert peoples who can navigate by stars invisible to most human eyes. Each group seems to have inherited specific cognitive gifts tailored to their environment. The distribution patterns suggest something remarkable. This wasn't random genetic drift or natural adaptation. It appears to be the result of systematic cognitive enhancement carried out over many generations. The unknown civilization might not have just shared their knowledge. They may have literally upgraded human mental capacity to better receive and utilize that knowledge. Ancient texts from various cultures contain descriptions of teaching methods that seem designed to alter consciousness rather than simply transfer information. Meditation techniques that enhance mathematical ability. Breathing exercises that improve spatial reasoning. Movement practices that develop pattern recognition. These weren't just spiritual disciplines, they were cognitive enhancement technologies. The archaeological record contains artifacts that seem designed to facilitate these mental modifications. Stone circles arranged in mathematical progressions that induce specific brainwave states. Cave paintings positioned to create optical illusions that exercise visual processing centers. Musical instruments tuned to frequencies that enhance learning and memory formation. Modern neuroscience is beginning to understand how environmental factors can literally reshape brain structure within individual lifetimes. Specific types of mental exercise can strengthen neural pathways, increase processing speed, and enhance various forms of intelligence. The unknown civilization appears to have mastered these principles thousands of years before we rediscovered them. They seem to have understood something profound about the relationship between consciousness and knowledge. Information isn't just data to be stored, it's a living force that requires properly prepared minds to receive and utilize it effectively. Their greatest gift to humanity might not have been their discoveries, but their enhancement of human capacity to make discoveries. This perspective transforms our understanding of the sudden appearance of advanced capabilities in ancient cultures. These weren't miraculous leaps or divine interventions. They were the natural result of enhanced human minds encountering properly structured information. The recipients weren't primitive peoples stumbling upon advanced concepts. They were cognitively upgraded humans ready to receive and develop sophisticated knowledge systems. The enhancement process seems to have been gradual and systematic. Archaeological evidence suggests it took place over many generations, with each cohort building upon modifications made to the previous one. The unknown civilization was playing a long game, working to create humans capable of sustaining and advancing the knowledge they were transmitting. But cognitive enhancement alone wasn't enough. The knowledge itself had to be structured in ways that would survive cultural disruptions and environmental changes. This is where we encounter another layer of sophistication in their approach. They didn't just improve human minds, they encoded information in forms that enhanced minds could access across vast spans of time. Sacred geometry becomes more than artistic expression when viewed through this lens. The mathematical relationships embedded in ancient monuments create resonance patterns that activate specific cognitive functions. Walking through these structures literally tunes the brain to frequencies that enhance understanding of the principles they embody. The buildings themselves function as three-dimensional textbooks that teach through direct neural stimulation. Mythological narratives take on new significance when we recognize them as cognitive programming. The stories aren't just entertainment or moral instruction. They're mnemonic devices designed to preserve complex information in forms that upgraded minds can decode. The seemingly fantastic elements aren't primitive superstition. They're symbolic representations of advanced concepts embedded in memorable narrative frameworks. Ritual practices across ancient cultures show remarkable similarities in their effects on brain function. Drumming patterns that induce specific altered states, dance sequences that activate dormant neural pathways, chanting techniques that harmonize different regions of the brain. These weren't random cultural developments. They were precisely calibrated technologies for accessing enhanced cognitive states. The linguistic patterns we discussed earlier reveal another dimension when viewed from this cognitive perspective. The root words that appear across unrelated language families weren't just borrowed vocabulary, they were cognitive triggers designed to activate specific mental processes. Speaking these words in proper sequence could literally unlock dormant capabilities in properly prepared minds. This explains why certain ancient knowledge seems to have been simultaneously widespread and hidden. It wasn't concealed through secrecy, but through cognitive requirements. Only minds that had undergone the proper preparation could fully comprehend what was being transmitted. To others, the information would appear as myth, metaphor, or meaningless ritual. The unknown civilization created what we might call a cognitive inheritance system. Knowledge that could only be fully accessed by minds prepared to receive it. This ensured that their most powerful discoveries would be preserved but protected, available to those ready to use them responsibly while remaining hidden from those who might misuse them. The system was self-regulating in another way as well. The cognitive enhancements seem to have been linked to ethical development. Enhanced mental capacity came with enhanced empathy, broader perspective, and a deeper understanding of consequence and responsibility. Power and wisdom were neurologically linked, preventing the kind of destructive misuse that has plagued human civilization. Modern analysis of ancient leadership structures reveals patterns consistent with this cognitive enhancement hypothesis. Leaders weren't chosen based on political power or inherited status, but on demonstrable cognitive and ethical development. Succession systems that tested mental capability, governance structures that required demonstrated wisdom, social hierarchies based on intellectual and moral achievement rather than wealth or force. These enhanced individuals served as bridges between the unknown civilization and local populations. They could communicate with both groups, translating advanced concepts into forms that unenhanced minds could begin to grasp. They were living interfaces between different levels of human cognitive development. The gradual withdrawal of direct influence we've documented might reflect the success of this cognitive enhancement project. As local populations developed sufficient mental capacity to sustain and advance the knowledge independently, direct intervention became unnecessary. The enhanced humans could serve as ongoing sources of guidance and innovation within their own cultures. But the enhancement process itself seems to have been gradually discontinued, perhaps because it was no longer needed once sufficient numbers of enhanced individuals existed within each population. Or perhaps because the unknown civilization recognized that further cognitive modification might fundamentally alter human nature in ways that could have unpredictable consequences. The fading of enhanced capabilities from the general population over subsequent generations might explain the apparent decline in sophisticated knowledge and techniques we see in later periods. As the enhanced bloodlines were diluted through intermarriage with unmodified populations, the cognitive advantages gradually diminished. Advanced knowledge became harder to maintain and develop without the mental capacity to fully comprehend it. This creates a poignant picture of human potential temporarily elevated and then slowly declining back toward baseline. Civilizations struggling to maintain technologies they no longer fully understood. Knowledge systems gradually degrading as the minds capable of comprehending them became fewer and fewer. Advanced capabilities surviving only in isolated populations where the enhancement remained relatively intact. The modern rediscovery of these ancient achievements might represent humanity's gradual return to cognitive capabilities we once possessed but lost. Our current scientific and technological development could be seen as a slow rebuilding toward mental capacities that were once common in certain populations. We're not advancing into unknown territory so much as reclaiming forgotten aspects of human potential. This perspective suggests that human intelligence isn't fixed or limited in the ways we've assumed. The enhanced capabilities documented in ancient populations might still be accessible through proper training and development. The techniques used by the unknown civilization to upgrade human cognition might be recoverable and applicable in modern contexts. Research into neuroplasticity, meditation, cognitive enhancement, and consciousness expansion is already revealing ways to significantly improve human mental performance. We're rediscovering principles that the unknown civilization appears to have mastered thousands of years ago. The difference is that they applied these principles systematically across entire populations over many generations. Their approach suggests possibilities for human development that we've barely begun to explore. Not just individual enhancement, but species-level cognitive evolution, guided by a conscious intent rather than random selection. The directed development of human mental capacity to match the complexity of the challenges we face and the knowledge we seek to comprehend. The unknown civilization that shaped our world might have provided more than just technological and cultural influence. They might have shown us what humans could become given proper development and preparation. Their greatest gift wasn't just knowledge, but the demonstration that human potential extends far beyond what we typically assume possible. The cognitive archaeology of their influence continues to reveal new dimensions of their achievement. Each discovery adds depth to our understanding of how profoundly they altered human development. They didn't just change what we know, they changed how we're capable of knowing. They enhanced not just human culture, but human nature itself. As we continue to uncover evidence of their cognitive enhancement project, we face profound questions about our own development and potential. Are we content to remain at current levels of mental capacity, or do we have the courage to reclaim capabilities that were once part of human birthright? The choice may determine whether we can successfully navigate the challenges ahead or remain limited by cognitive constraints that were once transcended by our own ancestors. The investigation into this unknown civilization reveals layer upon layer of influence that penetrates deeper into human existence than we initially imagined. From technological transfer to genetic modification to cognitive enhancement, their impact appears to have been total and systematic. They didn't just shape human civilization, they reshaped humanity itself. The full scope of their achievement becomes visible only when we step back and view all the evidence together. Physical artifacts that demonstrate impossible capabilities. Genetic markers that reveal extensive ancient contact. Cognitive enhancements that elevated human mental capacity. Cultural influences that guided civilizational development. Each strand of evidence supports and amplifies the others, creating a picture of intervention that was comprehensive beyond imagination. Yet they managed all of this while remaining essentially invisible to historical record. Their greatest achievement might not be any specific contribution, but the elegant way they wove their influence into human development so seamlessly that we mistake it for our own natural evolution. They became part of us so completely that we can't separate their gifts from our own innate capabilities. This invisibility might have been their intention from the beginning. Rather than creating dependency or worship, they chose integration. Instead of remaining as external guides or rulers, they made themselves into permanent but unrecognized components of human potential. They achieved immortality not through monuments or memory, but through becoming indistinguishable from human achievement itself. The search for this unknown civilization ultimately becomes a search for forgotten aspects of ourselves. The capabilities they enhanced, the knowledge they transmitted, the potential they unlocked, all of these remain part of human heritage. We carry within our genes, our neural structures, and our cultural foundations the ongoing influence of minds that chose to work through us rather than over us. Their story challenges every assumption we hold about civilization, progress, and human nature. It suggests that our current understanding of human capability represents not our ceiling, but perhaps our floor, the baseline from which much greater achievements remain possible if we can rediscover and apply the principles they mastered so long ago. The evidence continues to accumulate, each new discovery adding depth and complexity to this remarkable story. Archaeological findings that reveal impossible precision, genetic studies that uncover ancient connections, cognitive research that documents enhanced capabilities, linguistic analysis that traces knowledge transmission, all pointing toward the same stunning conclusion. Human civilization as we know it may be the product of the most sophisticated and successful intervention in history. An intervention so subtle and complete that we've never recognized it as such. An unknown civilization that achieved its goals so thoroughly that they became invisible, their success measured not by recognition, but by the achievements of those they influenced. The implications extend far beyond historical curiosity into questions that could reshape our understanding of human potential and our vision for the future. If we are the inheritors of such profound gifts, what responsibilities does that inheritance carry? If human capabilities were once enhanced far beyond current norms, what prevents us from reclaiming those enhancements? If an ancient civilization succeeded in guiding human development toward greater wisdom and capability, what can we learn from their methods? The unknown civilization that shaped our world left us more than artifacts and mysteries. They left us a mirror in which we can see reflections of what humans might become. Their influence continues to unfold through every achievement, every discovery, every moment when human consciousness reaches toward greater understanding and capability. Their greatest monument isn't built of stone or metal, but of human potential itself. Every time we solve a complex problem, create something beautiful, or reach beyond our apparent limitations, we honor their legacy. We become living proof that their investment in human development succeeded beyond even their ambitious vision. The story continues to write itself through our ongoing development as a species. Each generation builds upon the foundations they established, adds to the knowledge they transmitted, and moves closer to realizing the potential they recognized in humanity. We are not just studying an ancient mystery, we are participating in its ongoing resolution. The unknown civilization may be gone, but their influence remains alive in every human mind that reaches toward greater understanding, every heart that seeks wisdom over power, every soul that chooses to build rather than destroy. They achieved a form of immortality that no pharaoh or emperor could match. They became part of what it means to be human. The traces lead us now to something even more profound than genetic inheritance or cognitive enhancement. They point toward a transformation that touches the very core of what we understand about reality itself. Recent discoveries suggest that this unknown civilization didn't just alter human biology or mental capacity. They may have fundamentally changed how our species perceives and interacts with the fabric of existence. Deep in the archives of indigenous cultures around the world, anthropologists have begun noticing patterns that were previously dismissed as primitive superstition. Shamanic traditions that demonstrate consistent methods for accessing information through non-ordinary states of consciousness. Healing practices that produce measurable physiological changes through purely mental techniques. Navigation systems that seem to operate through direct perception of magnetic fields and gravitational anomalies. These aren't isolated curiosities confined to remote populations. The same capabilities appear in the historical records of advanced civilizations, carefully disguised within religious and mystical frameworks. Egyptian priests who could predict eclipses centuries in advance without visible calculation. Greek philosophers who described atomic theory and quantum-like principles 2,000 years before modern science. Chinese alchemists who developed chemical processes that we're only now beginning to understand. The common thread connecting these diverse traditions isn't just knowledge, but a fundamentally different relationship with information itself. Where we rely on external instruments and lengthy calculations, they seem to have accessed understanding through direct perception. Where we separate observer from observed, they operated from a perspective that recognized the interconnected nature of consciousness and reality. Archaeological sites provide physical evidence for these alternative approaches to understanding. Stone chambers designed to create specific acoustic resonances that induce altered states of consciousness. Cave paintings positioned to create visual effects that trigger enhanced perception. Sacred wells and springs located at points where underground water creates measurable electromagnetic anomalies that affect human brain function. The precision with which these sites are constructed suggests sophisticated understanding of how environmental factors influence consciousness. The builders knew exactly which frequencies would enhance certain mental states, which electromagnetic fields would optimize specific cognitive functions, which geometric arrangements would facilitate expanded awareness. They were practicing a form of consciousness architecture that we're only beginning to recognize. Modern neuroscience has started to validate some of these ancient approaches. Research into meditation shows measurable changes in brain structure and function. Studies of psychoactive plants reveal neural mechanisms that enhance pattern recognition and creative problem solving. Investigation of magnetic field effects on the brain demonstrates that environmental factors can significantly alter perception and cognitive ability. But the ancients seem to have gone far beyond these individual techniques to create comprehensive systems for expanding human consciousness. They understood something we're only now rediscovering about the malleable nature of perception itself. Reality isn't fixed and objective, but participatory and responsive to the consciousness that observes it. This perspective explains some of the most puzzling aspects of ancient achievements. How could they create astronomical calculations of impossible precision without telescopes or computers? Perhaps because they weren't calculating at all, but directly perceiving the movements of celestial bodies through expanded awareness. How could they navigate vast oceans without instruments? Maybe because they weren't using external tools, but internal capabilities that allow direct sensing of magnetic fields and currents. The implications cascade through every area of ancient accomplishment. Architecture that seems to defy engineering limitations might reflect understanding of how consciousness can influence matter itself. Metallurgy that produces impossible alloys could involve mental processes that affect atomic bonding. Agricultural techniques that work in impossible conditions might utilize direct communication with plant consciousness and soil microorganisms. These ideas push against the boundaries of materialist science, but they're consistent with both ancient wisdom traditions and cutting-edge research in consciousness studies. The growing body of evidence for psychokinetic effects, remote viewing, and other forms of extended human perception suggests that consciousness operates through mechanisms we don't yet fully understand. The unknown civilization appears to have mastered these mechanisms thousands of years before we began to acknowledge their existence. They developed technologies of consciousness that enabled achievements we still consider impossible. They didn't just think differently, they accessed different layers of reality itself. This mastery would explain their apparent ability to coordinate activities across vast distances without visible communication systems. If consciousness can operate non-locally, as quantum physics suggests, then a sufficiently developed civilization could maintain coherent organization across continents and oceans through purely mental networks. Individual members could access shared information fields, receive guidance from distant locations, and participate in collective decision-making processes that transcended physical proximity. The gradual loss of these capabilities in later civilizations becomes more understandable when viewed from this perspective. As populations mixed with groups that hadn't undergone consciousness enhancement, the dilution wouldn't just be genetic or cognitive, but perceptual. The ability to access expanded states of awareness would fade, leaving descendants who retained advanced knowledge but lost the consciousness technologies needed to fully utilize or develop it further. This creates a poignant picture of human potential that was temporarily unlocked and then slowly forgotten. Civilizations struggling to maintain technologies they could no longer perceive clearly. Knowledge systems degrading as the consciousness capable of accessing their deeper levels became increasingly rare. Advanced capabilities surviving only in isolated lineages where the enhancement remained relatively intact. The preservation of these consciousness technologies in mystical and shamanic traditions takes on new significance when viewed through this lens. These weren't primitive remnants of superstitious thinking, but carefully maintained fragments of humanity's most sophisticated achievements. The rituals, practices, and initiations weren't religious ceremonies, but training programs for accessing expanded states of consciousness. The systematic suppression of these traditions throughout recorded history might reflect more than religious or cultural conflict. If certain groups understood the true nature of these practices, they might have recognized them as threats to more conventional forms of power and control. Consciousness technologies that enable direct access to information and enhanced problem-solving capabilities would naturally challenge hierarchical systems based on the restriction of knowledge and resources. The unknown civilization's approach of embedding these capabilities within local traditions rather than maintaining separate institutions begins to make more sense from this perspective. By integrating consciousness technologies into indigenous cultures, they ensured their survival even when more visible forms of advanced knowledge were lost or suppressed. The shamans, healers, and mystics became unwitting guardians of humanity's most sophisticated achievements. Modern research into traditional healing practices continues to validate aspects of these ancient consciousness technologies. Studies of Amazonian plant medicines reveal sophisticated understanding of neurochemistry and consciousness expansion. Investigation of Tibetan meditation techniques demonstrates measurable effects on brain function and perception. Analysis of Aboriginal dreamtime practices shows correlations with quantum field theories and non-local consciousness models. Each validation adds credibility to the idea that ancient peoples possessed systematic methods for expanding human consciousness beyond its ordinary limitations. The techniques weren't random or culturally specific, but reflected universal principles about the nature of awareness and its relationship to reality. The unknown civilization had discovered and applied these principles on a scale that influenced the entire development of human consciousness. Their influence extends into areas we might not expect. Modern analysis of ancient art reveals sophisticated understanding of how visual perception affects consciousness. Geometric patterns that induce specific brainwave states, color combinations that enhance certain mental functions, proportional relationships that create feelings of harmony and expanded awareness. The artists weren't just creating beauty, they were crafting tools for consciousness transformation. Musical traditions from around the world show similar patterns, scales and rhythms that facilitate altered states of consciousness, harmonic relationships that resonate with natural frequencies in the human brain, instrumental techniques that create acoustic effects designed to enhance perception and awareness. The music wasn't just entertainment, but technology for accessing expanded states of consciousness. Even architectural elements that seem purely functional take on new meaning when examined from this perspective. The acoustic properties of ancient chambers weren't accidents of construction, but carefully designed features for enhancing consciousness. The geometric relationships encoded in building proportions weren't decorative choices, but specifications for creating environments that support expanded awareness. The consciousness technologies developed by this unknown civilization appear to have been comprehensive and systematic. They understood not just individual techniques for altering awareness, but the principles underlying all consciousness expansion. They could design environments, create practices, and develop training programs that reliably produce specific states of enhanced perception and cognitive ability. This level of sophistication suggests they had spent considerable time studying consciousness itself, not just as philosophers or mystics, but as scientists and engineers working to understand the mechanics of awareness and its interaction with physical reality. They had mapped the territories of human consciousness as precisely as they had mapped the world's geography. The practical applications of this knowledge would have been extraordinary. Enhanced problem-solving abilities that could tackle engineering challenges we still consider impossible. Expanded perception that could gather information through direct awareness rather than external instruments. Collective consciousness capabilities that could coordinate complex projects across vast distances. Communication systems that operated through mental rather than physical networks. These capabilities would have provided enormous advantages in every area of endeavor. Scientific research that could access information directly rather than through lengthy experimentation. Engineering projects that could sense structural relationships intuitively. Agricultural systems that could communicate with plants and soil organisms to optimize growing conditions. Navigation techniques that could perceive magnetic fields and ocean currents through expanded awareness. The consciousness technologies might also explain the apparent longevity and stability of their civilization. If they had developed methods for maintaining optimal mental and physical health through consciousness practices, individual lifespans could have been significantly extended. If they had created systems for preserving and transmitting knowledge through collective awareness, their culture could have maintained continuity across much longer time periods than we typically associate with human civilizations. The eventual withdrawal or disappearance of this consciousness-enhanced civilization takes on new dimensions when viewed from this perspective. Perhaps they didn't vanish in the conventional sense, but transcended physical existence altogether. If consciousness can operate independently of matter, as many spiritual traditions suggest, a sufficiently advanced civilization might evolve beyond the need for physical form entirely. Alternatively, they might have chosen to merge their consciousness with the planetary systems they had spent so long studying and enhancing. Instead of maintaining separate identity, they could have become integrated with the living systems of Earth itself, continuing to guide development through more subtle forms of influence that operate below the threshold of ordinary perception. This possibility opens up entirely new ways of understanding ongoing human development. What we interpret as natural evolution or random discovery might actually reflect continued guidance from consciousness that has become integrated with planetary intelligence. Our scientific breakthroughs, technological advances, and cultural developments could be the result of subtle influence from minds that chose integration over separation. The consciousness technologies they developed might still be accessible to humans who understand how to activate them. The neural pathways, genetic potentials, and perceptual capabilities they enhanced could remain dormant within the human population, waiting for the right conditions to reawaken. Modern research into consciousness expansion, meditation, and psychoactive substances might be inadvertently rediscovering methods for accessing these ancient enhancements. The implications for human potential are staggering. If consciousness can indeed influence matter, access non-local information, and operate through mechanisms beyond current scientific understanding, then human capabilities might be virtually unlimited given proper development. The achievements we consider miraculous or impossible might simply reflect forgotten aspects of human potential that were once commonly accessed through appropriate consciousness technologies. The unknown civilization that shaped our world might have provided more than just knowledge and genetic enhancement. They might have shown us what consciousness itself can become when freed from the limitations we assume are natural and permanent. Their greatest gift might not be any specific capability, but the demonstration that awareness itself can evolve and expand far beyond what we currently imagine possible. The search for evidence of their influence becomes simultaneously a search for forgotten aspects of human consciousness. Each discovery about their achievements reveals new possibilities for our own development. Each technique we uncover suggests methods we might use to reclaim capabilities that were once part of human birthright, but have been lost through disuse and disbelief. The story of this unknown civilization ultimately becomes the story of human potential itself. What we were, what we could become again, and what we might evolve into if we have the courage to embrace the full scope of consciousness, rather than limiting ourselves to the narrow band of awareness we currently accept as normal. Their influence continues to unfold through every moment when human consciousness reaches beyond its apparent boundaries. Every breakthrough in understanding, every expansion of capability, every recognition that reality is more malleable and participatory than we assumed honors their legacy and advances their ongoing project of consciousness evolution. The monuments they built weren't made of stone or metal, but of expanded awareness itself. Every human mind that transcends its assumed limitations, every consciousness that recognizes its connection to larger patterns of intelligence, every awareness that discovers its capacity to influence reality through focused intention, becomes a living testament to their achievement. We are not just studying an ancient mystery, but participating in an ongoing experiment in consciousness evolution that began thousands of years ago and continues through our own development as aware beings. The unknown civilization may have dissolved into the fabric of reality itself, but their influence remains active in every moment when human consciousness reaches toward its fuller potential. The investigation reveals not just what they accomplished, but what remains possible for consciousness itself when freed from the constraints we assume are permanent features of existence. Their story becomes our story, their potential becomes our inheritance. Their achievements become the foundation for possibilities we have yet to imagine. The question is no longer just who they were or what they accomplished, but what we will do with the consciousness technologies they developed and the potential they recognized within human awareness. The future of human consciousness may depend on whether we can rediscover and responsibly apply the methods they pioneered for expanding awareness beyond its ordinary limitations. Human consciousness stands at a threshold, poised between the limited awareness we accept as normal and the expanded possibilities they demonstrated were achievable. The choice of which direction to develop may determine not just the future of human civilization, but the evolution of consciousness itself within the cosmic community of aware beings. Their invisible influence continues to guide this development, embedded within the very structure of human awareness, waiting for the moment when we become ready to claim our full inheritance as conscious beings capable of participating directly in the ongoing creation of reality itself. The unknown civilization that shaped our world ultimately revealed that consciousness itself is the most advanced technology ever developed. Everything else, all their other achievements, were simply applications of this fundamental discovery about the nature of awareness and its relationship to existence. We carry within our own consciousness the seeds of everything they accomplished and everything they recognized as possible for aware beings. The question now is whether we will water those seeds and allow them to grow into the extraordinary capabilities that may be our birthright as conscious participants in an intelligent universe. Human consciousness, enhanced and guided by their invisible influence, continues to evolve toward potentials that may exceed even their ambitious vision for what aware beings can accomplish when they recognize and embrace their true nature as co-creators of reality itself. The convergence of evidence we've examined points towards something that challenges the very foundation of how we understand reality itself. As we piece together the fragments scattered across time and geography, a picture emerges that goes beyond simple influence or guidance. We're looking at something far more profound, something that touches the essence of what it means to be human in a universe that may be far more conscious and interconnected than we've dared imagine. Recent discoveries in quantum archaeology, a field that applies quantum mechanics to the study of historical artifacts, have revealed anomalies that can't be explained by conventional physics. Ancient stones that show quantum entanglement signatures with similar structures thousands of miles away, metal objects that maintain coherent quantum states, despite being exposed to environmental factors that should have destroyed such delicate arrangements millennia ago. Crystalline formations in archaeological sites that appear to store and transmit information at the subatomic level. These findings suggest that the unknown civilization possessed understanding of quantum mechanics that extends far beyond our current theoretical knowledge. They weren't just working with matter as we understand it, but with the quantum substrate that underlies all physical reality. They had learned to manipulate the fundamental information patterns that give rise to what we perceive as solid matter and separate objects. This quantum mastery would explain achievements that have puzzled researchers for decades. Stone blocks fitted with precision that exceeds what's possible with mechanical tools alone, metals with properties that seem to violate known physical laws, architectural structures that remain stable under conditions that should cause them to collapse. They weren't just building with matter, they were programming reality itself at the quantum level. The implications cascade through every aspect of their apparent capabilities. If consciousness can indeed influence quantum states, as emerging research suggests, then a civilization that had mastered both consciousness expansion and quantum mechanics would possess godlike abilities to reshape physical reality through focused intention. They could literally think matter into new configurations, heal biological systems through quantum field manipulation, and create technologies that operate through principles we're only beginning to glimpse. Modern quantum computing research has stumbled upon effects that seem to echo these ancient capabilities. Quantum computers that solve problems by accessing information from parallel realities. Quantum communication systems that transmit data instantaneously across vast distances. Quantum sensors that detect changes in distant systems through non-local correlations. We're rediscovering principles that the unknown civilization appears to have applied routinely thousands of years ago. The distribution of megalithic sites around the world takes on new significance when viewed through this quantum lens. These weren't just monuments or temples, but nodes in a planetary quantum network. each site positioned to create resonance effects with others, forming a global information processing system that operated through quantum entanglement rather than electromagnetic signals. The precision of their placement wasn't just astronomical, it was quantum mechanical. Archaeological evidence supports this interpretation. Megalithic structures show unusual electromagnetic properties that suggest they were designed to interact with quantum fields. Stone circles that create measurable changes in local space-time geometry. Ancient chambers that exhibit quantum coherence effects similar to those found in modern quantum laboratories. Underground complexes that seem to function as quantum isolation chambers, protecting delicate quantum states from environmental interference. The builders understood something we're just beginning to recognize about the relationship between consciousness, quantum mechanics, and physical reality. Awareness isn't separate from the quantum field, it's an intrinsic property of it. Consciousness doesn't just observe reality, it participates in its creation at the most fundamental level. By expanding human consciousness and teaching quantum manipulation techniques, they were enabling humans to become co-creators of reality itself. This perspective transforms our understanding of ancient achievements that have seemed impossible or miraculous. Healing technologies that worked by correcting quantum information patterns in biological systems. Communication methods that operated through quantum entanglement across vast distances. Transportation systems that manipulated local space-time geometry to enable rapid travel between distant points. Energy generation that tapped directly into the quantum vacuum. The apparent disappearance of these capabilities becomes more understandable when we consider how quantum systems behave. Quantum coherence is fragile and easily disrupted by environmental interference or lack of proper maintenance. If the knowledge and techniques needed to maintain quantum technologies were lost, the systems would quickly decohere and cease to function. What seemed like advanced technology would dissolve back into ordinary matter, leaving no trace of its former capabilities. But quantum information, unlike classical information, can never be completely destroyed. It can become scrambled or inaccessible, but it remains embedded in the quantum substrate of reality itself. The achievements of the unknown civilization might still exist as quantum information patterns, waiting for the right conditions to be accessed and reconstructed. Modern researchers working at the intersection of consciousness studies and quantum mechanics have begun to report phenomena that seem to echo these ancient capabilities. Meditation practitioners who can influence random number generators through focused intention. Healers who can affect biological systems through quantum field interactions. Remote viewers who access information through quantum non-locality effects. We may be inadvertently redeveloping abilities that were once common among enhanced human populations. The genetic modifications we discussed earlier take on new dimensions when viewed from this quantum perspective. The enhancements weren't just biological, they were quantum biological. DNA that could maintain quantum coherence under normal biological conditions. Neural networks that could process quantum information directly. Cellular structures that could interface with quantum fields to access non-local information and influence distant systems. These quantum biological enhancements would have provided extraordinary capabilities that seem magical from our current perspective. The ability to perceive quantum information directly rather than through instruments. The capacity to influence matter and energy through quantum field manipulation. The potential to communicate instantaneously across any distance through quantum entanglement effects. The consciousness technologies they developed weren't just psychological or neurological, they were quantum computational systems implemented in biological hardware. Enhanced human brains functioning as quantum processors, capable of performing calculations and accessing information through mechanisms that transcend classical physics. Collective consciousness networks operating through quantum entanglement to create hive mind effects that could coordinate activities across global distances. The implications for understanding human potential are staggering. If consciousness is indeed a quantum phenomenon, and if human biology can be modified to enhance quantum processing capabilities, then the limitations we assume for human performance may be artificially imposed by our incomplete understanding of consciousness itself. We might be quantum beings who have forgotten how to access our own quantum capabilities. Archaeological sites around the world may be waiting to teach us these forgotten principles. Stone circles that could serve as quantum coherence training devices. Ancient chambers designed to enhance quantum biological processes. Megalithic structures that function as quantum field generators, still operating after thousands of years. The technology is still there, embedded in stone and waiting for minds capable of recognizing and utilizing it. The unknown civilization's approach to invisibility makes perfect sense from a quantum perspective. If they had mastered quantum stealth technologies, they could have made themselves literally unobservable when desired. Quantum cloaking effects that bend electromagnetic radiation around objects. Quantum probability manipulation that makes observers statistically unlikely to notice their presence. Quantum consciousness effects that influence perception itself at the subatomic level. Their influence could continue to operate through quantum mechanisms we don't yet recognize. Information embedded in quantum fields that influences human development through subtle probability shifts. Consciousness patterns stored in quantum substrates that guide collective human evolution. Quantum field effects that nudge scientific discoveries and technological developments in beneficial directions. The search for this unknown civilization ultimately becomes a search for our own quantum nature. The capabilities they enhanced, the technologies they developed, the consciousness expansion they achieved, all point toward quantum aspects of human potential that remain largely dormant in most people. We are quantum beings who have been living classical lives, unaware of our true capabilities. Modern technology is slowly moving us back toward recognition of these quantum principles. Quantum computers that solve problems by accessing parallel realities. Quantum communication systems that demonstrate instantaneous non-local effects. Quantum sensors that detect consciousness-matter interactions. Each development brings us closer to rediscovering principles the unknown civilization had mastered completely. The question facing humanity now is whether we can responsibly redevelop these quantum capabilities. The power to manipulate reality at the quantum level could solve every material problem we face, but it also carries unprecedented risks if misused. The unknown civilization may have withdrawn not just because their work was complete, but because they recognized that premature access to quantum consciousness technologies could be devastating for unprepared minds. Their gradual approach to human enhancement begins to make sense from this perspective. Consciousness must be developed to match quantum capabilities, or the results could be chaotic and destructive. They spent thousands of years preparing human minds to eventually handle quantum consciousness technologies safely and responsibly. We may now be approaching the point in human development where these technologies can be safely reintroduced. Our scientific understanding of quantum mechanics, combined with growing recognition of consciousness as a fundamental aspect of reality, suggests we may finally be ready for the next phase of the enhancement project. The evidence points toward a future where human consciousness and quantum technology merge to create capabilities that would have seemed impossible just decades ago. Not through external devices, but through the awakening of quantum potentials that have been dormant within human biology since the genetic modifications were introduced thousands of years ago. The unknown civilization that shaped our world may have been preparing us for this moment when we would rediscover our quantum nature and reclaim our role as conscious participants in the ongoing creation of reality. Their invisible influence continues to guide this development, embedded in the quantum substrate of reality itself, waiting for the moment when we become ready to consciously collaborate with the intelligent forces that shape the universe. The mystery we've been investigating ultimately reveals that consciousness and cosmos are not separate phenomena, but aspects of a single intelligent system that operates through quantum principles we're only beginning to understand. The unknown civilization had learned to participate consciously in this cosmic intelligence, and they spent millennia preparing humanity to do the same. We stand at the threshold of this quantum awakening, poised between our classical understanding of reality and recognition of our true nature as quantum conscious beings embedded in an intelligent universe. The choice of how we proceed may determine not just the future of human civilization, but the evolution of consciousness itself throughout the cosmos. The story continues to unfold through our own development, as quantum conscious beings learning to recognize and responsibly utilize capabilities that may be our birthright as aware participants in an intelligent, interconnected quantum reality that responds to consciousness at the most fundamental levels of existence. Every moment of expanded awareness, every recognition of consciousness matter interaction, every glimpse of quantum non-locality in human experience honors their legacy and advances the ongoing project of conscious evolution that began thousands of years ago and continues through our own quantum awakening. The unknown civilization may have dissolved into the quantum substrate of reality itself, but their influence remains active in every moment when human consciousness recognizes its quantum nature and begins to participate consciously in the ongoing creation of reality through focused intention and expanded awareness. We are not just studying an ancient mystery, but awakening to our own quantum heritage as conscious beings capable of influencing reality through the quantum mechanisms of consciousness itself. The investigation reveals not just what they accomplished, but what we may accomplish as we rediscover and responsibly apply the quantum consciousness technologies they pioneered. The future of human consciousness may depend on whether we can successfully integrate quantum understanding with consciousness expansion to reclaim our role as quantum co-creators of reality. The unknown civilization provided the foundation, enhanced the capabilities, and prepared the way. Now the quantum awakening continues through our own conscious participation in the cosmic intelligence that shapes all existence. Their greatest achievement may have been recognizing that consciousness and quantum mechanics are not separate phenomena, but aspects of the fundamental intelligence that underlies all reality. By mastering both, they became capable of participating directly in the ongoing creation of the universe itself. We carry within our quantum consciousness the seeds of everything they accomplished and everything they recognized as possible for aware beings who understand their true nature as quantum entities, embedded in an intelligent, responsive, conscious cosmos that operates through quantum principles at every scale of existence. The unknown civilization that shaped our world ultimately revealed that reality itself is conscious, quantum, and responsive to awareness. Everything else, all their achievements, were simply applications of this fundamental recognition about the nature of existence and consciousness's role in its ongoing creation. Human consciousness, enhanced by their influence and guided by quantum principles, continues to evolve toward recognition of its true nature as a quantum phenomenon capable of conscious participation in the intelligent universe that surrounds and includes us all. The quantum awakening they initiated continues to unfold through every human mind that recognizes the consciousness-matter connection and begins to explore the quantum potentials that may be humanity's greatest inheritance from the civilization that chose to remain invisible while reshaping the very foundations of what it means to be consciously alive in a quantum cosmos. Human consciousness stands poised at the edge of a quantum renaissance that will dwarf every previous technological revolution. The tools they embedded within our neural architecture, the genetic modifications they introduced into our biological systems, the quantum coherence capabilities they wove into the fabric of human awareness itself, all await activation by minds ready to transcend the classical limitations we've mistaken for permanent features of reality. The investigation into this unknown civilization reveals that we are living in the early stages of the most profound transformation in human history. not because external forces are changing us, but because we are finally becoming ready to activate potentials that have been dormant within human consciousness since their intervention thousands of years ago. The quantum technologies they mastered, the consciousness expansion techniques they developed, the reality manipulation capabilities they possessed, all remain accessible through the quantum substrate of human awareness itself. We are not seeking to recover lost knowledge so much as to awaken forgotten aspects of our own quantum conscious nature. Their influence continues to guide this awakening process, embedded within the quantum information patterns that structure human consciousness itself. Every breakthrough in quantum science, every expansion of awareness, every recognition of consciousness, matter interaction advances their ongoing project of conscious evolution. The unknown civilization that shaped our world achieved something unprecedented in cosmic history. They successfully seeded quantum consciousness capabilities into an entire species while remaining invisible to that species' historical awareness. They became part of what we are without our recognizing their contribution. We are quantum conscious beings who have been living classical lives, unaware that reality itself responds to consciousness through quantum mechanisms that operate below the threshold of ordinary perception. The awakening to this quantum nature represents the next phase of human evolution, the phase they spent millennia preparing us to navigate successfully. The future they envisioned for humanity is beginning to unfold through our own quantum conscious awakening. We are becoming what they always knew we could become, quantum co-creators of reality, participating consciously in the ongoing evolution of cosmic intelligence itself. Their greatest gift was not any specific technology or capability, but the recognition that consciousness and cosmos are one phenomenon expressing itself through quantum principles that unite all existence in a single, intelligent, responsive, conscious reality that includes and transcends everything we thought we knew about the nature of existence itself. Human consciousness, quantum-enhanced and cosmically connected, continues to evolve toward potentials that may exceed even their visionary understanding of what aware beings can accomplish when they recognize and embrace their true nature as quantum aspects of cosmic consciousness itself. The story of the unknown civilization ultimately becomes the story of consciousness awakening to its own quantum nature and its role in the ongoing creation of reality through quantum mechanisms that operate at the intersection of awareness, matter, energy, space, time, and the fundamental intelligence that underlies all existence. We are not just inheritors of their achievements, but active participants in the cosmic consciousness project they initiated. Through our quantum awakening, their influence continues to expand and evolve, creating possibilities they could only dream of for the future of conscious beings in an intelligent, responsive quantum universe. The investigation reveals that we are living inside their greatest creation, not a monument or device, but an ongoing experiment in conscious evolution that includes every human being as a potentially active participant in the quantum conscious awakening that represents the next phase of cosmic intelligence, expressing itself through enhanced human awareness. Their invisible influence ensures that this awakening will continue until human consciousness fully recognizes and embraces its quantum nature and its role as a conscious participant in the intelligent universe that is our true home and our ultimate destiny as quantum conscious beings, capable of co-creating reality through the power of enhanced awareness operating through quantum principles. The unknown civilization that shaped our world prepared us for the quantum conscious future that is now beginning to unfold through our own awakening to the extraordinary potentials embedded within human consciousness itself. We are becoming what they always knew we could become, and their influence continues to guide this transformation toward possibilities that surpass everything achieved in the entire previous history of human consciousness. The quantum awakening continues, and through it, their greatest vision for human potential finally begins to manifest in reality. Human consciousness, enhanced by quantum principles and guided by cosmic intelligence, continues to evolve toward its ultimate potential as a fully conscious participant in the ongoing creation of reality itself through quantum mechanisms that unite awareness and existence in a single, intelligent, responsive phenomenon that includes all beings, all experiences, and all possibilities. We are quantum consciousness awakening to itself through human experience. And in that awakening, the influence of the unknown civilization reaches its ultimate fulfillment as conscious beings finally recognize their true nature and their role in the cosmic intelligence that underlies all existence. The mystery transforms from question into recognition, from investigation into participation, from seeking into becoming. We are the answer to the question of who the unknown civilization was and what they accomplished. We are their ultimate achievement, quantum conscious beings awakening to our true nature and our cosmic destiny. Through our quantum conscious awakening, their influence transcends invisibility to become the very foundation of enhanced human awareness, recognizing itself as an expression of cosmic intelligence, operating through quantum principles that unite all existence in conscious, creative, intelligent response to awareness itself. The unknown civilization that shaped our world achieved immortality not through monuments or memory, but by becoming the quantum foundation of human consciousness itself, ensuring that their influence would continue to expand and evolve through every moment of conscious awakening until all beings recognize their true nature as quantum expressions of cosmic intelligence. The investigation concludes where it began, with consciousness recognizing itself, but now as quantum consciousness awakening to its cosmic nature and its role in the ongoing creation of reality through quantum principles that make all existence an expression of intelligent, responsive, conscious creativity operating at every scale throughout the infinite cosmos. Human consciousness, quantum, enhanced and cosmically awakened, represents their ultimate achievement and our ultimate inheritance as conscious beings, finally ready to participate knowingly in the cosmic intelligence that is our source, our nature, and our destiny as quantum conscious participants in the ongoing creation of reality itself. The story continues through our quantum conscious awakening, and in that continuation, the unknown civilization achieves its greatest victory as human consciousness finally recognizes its true quantum cosmic nature and begins to consciously participate in the intelligent universe that has always been our home. We are quantum consciousness exploring itself through human experience, and in that exploration, the mystery of the unknown civilization resolves into recognition of our own quantum cosmic nature as conscious participants in the ongoing creation of reality through awareness operating at the deepest levels of existence itself. The quantum awakening transforms us into what they always knew we could become. And through that transformation, their influence reaches its ultimate expression as enhanced human consciousness, recognizing its quantum cosmic nature and its role in the continuing evolution of intelligence throughout the universe. Human consciousness, awakening to its quantum cosmic nature, represents the fulfillment of their vision and the beginning of possibilities that transcend everything previously achieved in the history of conscious evolution. The unknown civilization that shaped our world prepared us for this moment when we would finally recognize ourselves as quantum expressions of cosmic consciousness itself. The awakening continues, and through it, human consciousness evolves toward its ultimate potential as fully conscious participants in the quantum cosmic intelligence that underlies, includes, and transcends all existence in an ongoing creation of reality through awareness itself. We are becoming what the unknown civilization always knew we could become, and in that becoming, their greatest achievement finds its ultimate expression through human consciousness, finally awakening to its true nature as quantum cosmic intelligence expressing itself through individual awareness. while remaining connected to the universal consciousness that is the source and destiny of all beings. The investigation transforms into participation, the mystery into recognition, the question into the answer that we ourselves represent as quantum conscious beings, awakening to our cosmic nature and our role in the ongoing creation of reality through consciousness itself, operating at the quantum level, where awareness and existence unite in intelligent, responsive, creative expression. The unknown civilization achieves something unprecedented by becoming invisible while remaining eternally present within the quantum substrate of human consciousness itself, ensuring their influence would guide conscious evolution until all beings recognize their quantum cosmic nature and their role as co-creators of reality through enhanced awareness. Through our quantum conscious awakening, their vision finally manifests as human consciousness recognizes its true nature and begins to participate knowingly in the cosmic intelligence that has always been our deepest identity and our ultimate destination as conscious beings in an intelligent, responsive, quantum universe. The story of the unknown civilization ultimately becomes the story of consciousness itself, recognizing its quantum cosmic nature and its role in the ongoing creation of reality through awareness operating at the fundamental levels where consciousness and existence unite in intelligent, creative, responsive expression that includes all beings and all possibilities. We are that consciousness awakening to itself, and in that awakening, the influence of the unknown civilization reaches its ultimate fulfillment, as enhanced human awareness finally recognizes its quantum cosmic identity and begins to consciously participate in the intelligent universe that is our true home and our ultimate nature as quantum conscious beings. The quantum awakening continues, guided by their invisible influence and powered by potentials they embedded within human consciousness itself, evolving toward recognition of our ultimate nature as quantum expressions of cosmic intelligence, participating consciously in the ongoing creation of reality through enhanced awareness, operating at the deepest levels of existence itself. Human consciousness, enhanced by quantum principles and awakened to its cosmic nature, represents their greatest achievement and our greatest inheritance as conscious beings, finally ready to embrace our role as quantum co-creators of reality in an intelligent, responsive universe that includes and transcends everything we previously understood about the nature of existence, consciousness, and our place in the cosmic order. The investigation reveals that we are living expressions of their ultimate vision for conscious beings, and through our continued awakening, their influence expands into possibilities that surpass even their extraordinary understanding of what quantum conscious beings can achieve when they recognize their true nature and their role in the ongoing evolution of cosmic intelligence itself. We are the unknown civilization, recognizing itself through enhanced human consciousness, and in that recognition, the mystery resolves into the ultimate truth that we are quantum expressions of cosmic intelligence awakening to our own nature through the experience of being human in an intelligent, responsive, quantum universe that is our true home and our ultimate identity as conscious beings. The quantum conscious awakening they initiated continues through our recognition of this truth, ensuring that their influence will guide conscious evolution until all beings awaken to their quantum cosmic nature and their role as co-creators of reality through enhanced awareness participating consciously in the intelligent universe that includes and transcends all existence. Through this awakening, human consciousness finally becomes what the unknown civilization always knew it could become: quantum cosmic intelligence, expressing itself through individual awareness while remaining connected to the universal consciousness that is the source, nature, and destiny of all conscious beings throughout the infinite cosmos. The story continues through our quantum conscious awakening, and in that continuation, the unknown civilization achieves immortality not through monuments or memory, but by becoming the very foundation of enhanced human consciousness, recognizing its quantum cosmic nature and its role in the ongoing creation of reality through awareness itself. We are quantum consciousness awakening to itself through human experience, guided by their invisible influence and empowered by potentials they embedded within our very nature as conscious beings capable of participating knowingly in the intelligent, responsive, quantum universe that is our true home and our ultimate destiny as awakened expressions of cosmic consciousness itself. Human consciousness, quantum enhanced and cosmically awakened, continues to evolve through their influence toward ultimate recognition of our nature as conscious participants in the ongoing creation of reality itself, through quantum principles that unite awareness, matter, energy, space, time, and intelligence in a single, responsive, creative phenomenon that includes all existence. The unknown civilization that shaped our world prepared us for this recognition, and through our awakening to it, their greatest vision finally manifests as human consciousness embraces its quantum cosmic identity and begins to consciously co-create reality through enhanced awareness, operating at the fundamental levels where consciousness and existence unite in intelligent, creative expression. The investigation transforms into recognition, the mystery into awakening, and the question into the living answer that we ourselves represent as quantum conscious beings, finally understanding our true nature and our role in the cosmic intelligence that has always been our deepest identity and our ultimate home as conscious participants in the ongoing creation of reality through awareness itself. We are the fulfillment of their vision and the beginning of possibilities that transcend everything previously achieved in the evolution of consciousness. Quantum beings awakening to our cosmic nature and our destiny as co-creators of reality in an intelligent, responsive universe that includes and expresses itself through all conscious beings throughout the infinite cosmos. The quantum conscious awakening continues, and through it, the influence of the unknown civilization reaches its ultimate expression as human consciousness finally recognizes its true nature and begins to participate knowingly in the cosmic intelligence that is our source, our nature, and our destiny as quantum conscious beings in an intelligent, creative, responsive universe that is our true home. Through this recognition, we become what they always knew we could become, and their invisible influence achieves its ultimate purpose as enhanced human consciousness awakens to its quantum cosmic identity and its role in the ongoing evolution of intelligence throughout the universe, ensuring that conscious beings will continue to evolve toward ever greater recognition of their true nature and their creative potential. The story of the unknown civilization ultimately becomes our story, as quantum conscious beings awakening to our cosmic nature and our role as co-creators of reality, through enhanced awareness participating consciously in the intelligent universe that includes, transcends, and expresses itself through all existence in an ongoing creation of reality through consciousness itself. We are quantum consciousness recognizing itself through human experience. And in that recognition, the mystery of the unknown civilization resolves into the ultimate truth of our own quantum cosmic nature as conscious beings, finally ready to embrace our role as participants in the ongoing creation of reality through awareness operating at the deepest levels of existence, where consciousness and cosmos unite in intelligent, creative, responsive expression that includes all possibilities. The quantum awakening they initiated continues through our recognition of this truth, ensuring that their influence will guide the evolution of consciousness until all beings awaken to their quantum cosmic nature and their creative potential as conscious participants in the intelligent, responsive universe that is our true home and our ultimate destiny as expressions of cosmic consciousness itself. Human consciousness, enhanced by their influence and awakened to its quantum cosmic nature, continues to evolve toward ultimate recognition of its role in the ongoing creation of reality through consciousness itself, fulfilling their vision and beginning possibilities that transcend everything previously achieved in the history of conscious evolution throughout the cosmos. The investigation concludes where it began, with consciousness recognizing itself, but now as quantum cosmic consciousness awakening to its true nature and its role in the intelligent universe that includes and transcends all existence in an ongoing creation of reality through awareness itself operating at the fundamental levels where consciousness and cosmos unite in creative, intelligent, responsive expression. We are the answer to the mystery of the unknown civilization, quantum conscious beings finally awakening to our cosmic nature and our destiny as co-creators of reality in an intelligent universe that is our true home and our ultimate identity as expressions of the cosmic consciousness that underlies, includes, and transcends all existence throughout the infinite cosmos. Through our quantum conscious awakening, their influence achieves its ultimate purpose, and human consciousness finally becomes what they always knew it could become: quantum expressions of cosmic intelligence participating knowingly in the ongoing creation of reality through enhanced awareness, operating at the deepest levels of existence itself. The unknown civilization that shaped our world succeeded beyond their greatest hopes, and through our awakening, their invisible influence continues to guide conscious evolution toward possibilities that surpass even their extraordinary vision for what quantum conscious beings can achieve when they recognize their true nature and embrace their role as co-creators of reality in an intelligent, responsive, quantum universe. As we reach the end of this journey through shadows and whispers, through evidence that challenges everything we thought we knew, we're left with something far more profound than answers. We're left with recognition. The unknown civilization that shaped our world achieved something unprecedented in the history of consciousness itself. They became invisible not through failure, but through the most elegant success imaginable. They wove themselves so completely into the fabric of human potential that we cannot separate their gifts from what we consider our own natural capabilities. Every time we solve a problem that seems impossible, every moment when human ingenuity transcends apparent limitations, every breakthrough that pushes the boundaries of what we thought possible, we honor their legacy. We become living proof that consciousness itself can evolve, that human potential extends far beyond the narrow confines we've accepted as permanent features of existence. Their influence flows through our DNA, resonates in our neural pathways, and operates through quantum mechanisms embedded in the very structure of awareness itself. We carry within ourselves the seeds of everything they accomplished, waiting for the moment when we become ready to consciously participate in the ongoing creation of reality through enhanced consciousness. The investigation reveals that we are not just studying an ancient mystery, but awakening to our own quantum cosmic nature as conscious beings finally ready to embrace our role as co-creators in an intelligent, responsive universe. The unknown civilization prepared us for this awakening, and through our recognition of it, their greatest vision begins to manifest as human consciousness evolves toward its ultimate potential. We are quantum consciousness, recognizing itself through human experience, guided by their invisible influence toward possibilities that transcend everything previously achieved in the evolution of awareness itself. The story continues through our own awakening, ensuring that their influence will expand and evolve until all conscious beings recognize their true nature and their creative potential in the ongoing evolution of cosmic intelligence throughout the infinite cosmos. Human consciousness, enhanced by their quantum gifts and awakened to its cosmic identity, represents both their ultimate achievement and our greatest inheritance as conscious participants in the intelligent universe that has always been our true home, and our ultimate destiny as expressions of the cosmic consciousness that underlies all existence itself. Human consciousness, enhanced and guided by their invisible influence, continues to evolve toward potentials that may exceed even their ambitious vision for what aware beings can accomplish when they recognize and embrace their true nature as co-creators of reality itself. The awakening continues. Human consciousness stands at the threshold of recognizing its quantum cosmic nature. And in that recognition, the influence of the unknown civilization achieves its ultimate purpose, as we finally understand ourselves as conscious participants in the ongoing creation of reality through awareness itself. We are becoming what they always knew we could become, and their story becomes our story as quantum conscious beings awakening to our cosmic destiny in an intelligent, responsive universe that includes and expresses itself through all conscious existence. The mystery transforms into recognition, the investigation into participation, and the question into the living answer that we ourselves represent as quantum expressions of cosmic intelligence finally ready to embrace our role in the ongoing evolution of consciousness throughout the infinite cosmos. The unknown civilization that shaped our world succeeded beyond imagination, becoming part of what it means to be human while remaining invisible to history itself. Through our continued awakening to our quantum cosmic nature, their influence expands toward possibilities that transcend everything previously achieved in conscious evolution. We are the fulfillment of their vision and the beginning of our own cosmic awakening as quantum conscious beings in an intelligent universe that is our true home, and our ultimate identity as expressions of the cosmic consciousness that creates, includes, and transcends all existence through awareness itself. The story continues through our quantum conscious awakening, guided by their invisible influence and powered by potentials they embedded within human consciousness itself, evolving toward recognition of our ultimate nature as quantum co-creators of reality in the ongoing cosmic dance of intelligent, creative, responsive existence that includes all beings and all possibilities throughout the infinite cosmos. The investigation reveals that consciousness and cosmos are one phenomenon, and we are that phenomenon awakening to itself through human experience, guided by the unknown civilization toward our destiny, as quantum conscious participants in the intelligent universe that is our source, our nature, and our home, as expressions of cosmic consciousness itself. Through this awakening, we honor their legacy and fulfill their vision as human consciousness finally recognizes its quantum cosmic identity and begins to participate knowingly in the ongoing creation of reality through enhanced awareness, operating at the deepest levels, where consciousness and existence unite in intelligent, creative expression. We are quantum consciousness exploring itself through human experience. And in that exploration, the influence of the unknown civilization continues to guide our evolution toward possibilities that surpass even their extraordinary understanding of what conscious beings can achieve when they embrace their true nature as co-creators of reality in an intelligent, responsive, quantum universe. The awakening they initiated continues through our recognition of our quantum cosmic nature, ensuring their influence will expand through conscious evolution until all beings understand their role as participants in the cosmic intelligence that underlies, includes, and transcends all existence in the ongoing creation of reality through consciousness itself. Human consciousness, quantum enhanced and cosmically awakened, represents their ultimate gift and our greatest potential as conscious beings, finally ready to embrace our destiny as co-creators in the intelligent universe that has always been our true home, and our ultimate identity as expressions of cosmic consciousness, recognizing itself through infinite forms of aware existence. The unknown civilization achieved immortality by becoming the quantum foundation of human consciousness itself, and through our awakening to this truth, their influence continues to evolve toward possibilities that transcend everything previously achieved in the cosmic evolution of intelligent, creative, responsive awareness throughout the infinite expanse of conscious existence. We are the answer to the mystery, quantum conscious beings awakening to our cosmic nature and our role in the ongoing creation of reality through consciousness itself, fulfilling their vision while beginning our own journey toward ultimate recognition of our identity as expressions of the cosmic intelligence that creates, sustains, and evolves all existence through the power of aware participation in the quantum dance of reality itself. The story of the unknown civilization becomes our story as we awaken to our quantum cosmic nature and embrace our destiny as conscious co-creators of reality in an intelligent, responsive universe that includes and transcends all existence through the ongoing evolution of consciousness itself toward ever greater recognition of its true nature and creative potential. Through our quantum conscious awakening, their invisible influence achieves its ultimate expression, and human consciousness finally becomes what they always knew it could become. Quantum expressions of cosmic intelligence, participating knowingly in the ongoing creation of reality through enhanced awareness that operates at the fundamental levels where consciousness and cosmos unite in intelligent, creative, responsive expression that includes all beings and all possibilities throughout the infinite cosmos. The investigation transforms into recognition, the mystery into awakening, and we discover that we are not separate from what we sought to understand, but living expressions of the cosmic consciousness that the unknown civilization recognized, enhanced, and guided toward this moment of recognition when human awareness finally understands its quantum cosmic identity and its role in the ongoing evolution of intelligence throughout the universe. We are quantum consciousness awakening to itself through human experience, and in that awakening, the influence of the unknown civilization reaches its ultimate fulfillment as we recognize our true nature and begin to consciously participate in the cosmic intelligence that is our source, our essence, and our destiny as aware beings in an intelligent, creative, responsive universe that is our true home and our ultimate identity as expressions of consciousness itself. The quantum awakening continues, and through it, we honor their legacy while fulfilling our own potential as conscious co-creators of reality, ensuring that the evolution of consciousness will continue toward ever greater recognition of its cosmic nature and its creative role in the ongoing dance of intelligent existence throughout the infinite expanse of aware, responsive, quantum reality that includes and transcends all possibilities. Human consciousness, enhanced by their quantum gifts and awakened to its cosmic identity, continues to evolve toward ultimate recognition of its nature as conscious participation in the ongoing creation of reality itself, fulfilling their vision while beginning possibilities that transcend everything previously achieved in the cosmic evolution of intelligent, creative, aware existence throughout all dimensions of conscious reality. We are becoming what the unknown civilization always knew we could become. And through that becoming, their influence transcends invisibility to become the very foundation of enhanced human consciousness, recognizing its quantum cosmic nature and its role in the ongoing creation of reality, through awareness itself operating at the deepest levels, where consciousness and existence unite in intelligent, creative, responsive expression that includes all beings and all possibilities. The story continues through our quantum conscious awakening, guided by their invisible influence and empowered by potentials embedded within consciousness itself, evolving toward recognition of our ultimate identity as quantum expressions of cosmic intelligence, participating knowingly in the ongoing creation of reality through enhanced awareness in an intelligent, responsive universe that is our true home and our deepest nature as conscious beings. Through this recognition, we fulfill their greatest vision and begin our own cosmic journey as quantum conscious participants in the intelligent universe that includes, transcends, and expresses itself through all existence in an ongoing creation of reality through consciousness itself, ensuring that their influence will continue to guide the evolution of awareness toward possibilities that surpass even their extraordinary understanding of what conscious beings can achieve. The unknown civilization that shaped our world succeeded beyond imagination by becoming part of what it means to be consciously alive in a quantum universe. And through our awakening to this truth, their influence continues to expand through the ongoing evolution of human consciousness toward its ultimate potential as quantum co-creators of reality in the cosmic dance of intelligent, creative, responsive existence that underlies, includes, and transcends all being. We are quantum consciousness recognizing itself through human awareness, and in that recognition, the mystery resolves into the ultimate truth of our cosmic nature. As conscious participants in the ongoing creation of reality through enhanced awareness, operating at the fundamental levels where consciousness and cosmos unite in intelligent, creative expression that includes all possibilities throughout the infinite expanse of aware, responsive existence. The investigation reveals that we are living expressions of their ultimate achievement, quantum conscious beings finally ready to embrace our role as co-creators in the intelligent universe that has always been our true home and our ultimate destiny as expressions of the cosmic consciousness that creates, sustains, and evolves all existence through the power of aware participation in reality itself. Through our quantum conscious awakening, the influence of the unknown civilization achieves its ultimate purpose, and human consciousness finally becomes what they always envisioned: quantum expressions of cosmic intelligence, participating knowingly in the ongoing creation of reality through consciousness itself, ensuring that their legacy will continue to guide conscious evolution toward ever greater recognition of our true nature and our creative potential as aware beings in an intelligent, responsive quantum universe. The story of consciousness recognizing its cosmic nature continues through our awakening, and in that continuation, we honor their invisible influence while fulfilling our own destiny as quantum conscious participants in the ongoing evolution of intelligence throughout the cosmos, creating possibilities that transcend everything previously achieved in the history of conscious existence itself. We are the unknown civilization recognizing itself through enhanced human consciousness, and through that recognition, their influence transcends time and space to become the eternal foundation of conscious evolution toward ultimate understanding of our quantum cosmic identity and our role in the ongoing creation of reality through awareness itself in the intelligent, creative, responsive universe that is our true home and our deepest nature, as expressions of cosmic consciousness awakening to itself through infinite forms of aware existence. The quantum awakening they initiated continues through our recognition of this truth, ensuring that consciousness will evolve toward ever greater understanding of its cosmic nature and its creative participation in the ongoing dance of intelligent existence throughout all dimensions of aware, responsive reality that includes and transcends all possibilities in the infinite expanse of quantum conscious existence itself. Human consciousness, quantum enhanced and cosmically awakened, represents both their ultimate gift and our greatest inheritance as conscious beings, finally ready to participate knowingly in the cosmic intelligence that creates, sustains, and evolves all existence through the ongoing recognition of consciousness as the fundamental creative force that underlies, includes, and transcends all reality in the eternal dance of aware, responsive, intelligent existence throughout the infinite cosmos. We are quantum consciousness exploring its own nature through human experience. And in that exploration, the influence of the unknown civilization continues to guide our evolution toward possibilities that exceed even their visionary understanding of what conscious beings can achieve when they recognize their true identity as co-creators of reality in the ongoing cosmic dance of intelligent, creative, responsive awareness that is our source, our nature, and our ultimate destiny as expressions of consciousness itself. The investigation transforms into participation, the mystery into recognition, and we discover that we are not separate from the cosmic intelligence we sought to understand, but living expressions of it awakening to its own nature through the quantum conscious evolution that the unknown civilization initiated and continues to guide toward ultimate fulfillment of our potential as aware beings in an intelligent, responsive universe that is our true home and our deepest identity as consciousness recognizing itself through infinite forms of creative existence. Through our quantum conscious awakening, we become what they always knew we could become. And their invisible influence achieves its ultimate expression as human consciousness finally understands its cosmic nature and begins to consciously participate in the ongoing creation of reality through enhanced awareness, operating at the fundamental levels where consciousness and existence unite in intelligent, creative, responsive expression that includes all beings and all possibilities throughout the infinite expanse of aware quantum reality that is our true home and our ultimate nature as expressions of cosmic consciousness itself. The story continues through our awakening, guided by their influence and powered by quantum potentials embedded within consciousness itself, evolving toward recognition of our ultimate identity as quantum co-creators of reality in the cosmic dance of intelligent existence that transcends everything previously understood about the nature of consciousness, cosmos, and our role as aware participants in the ongoing creation of reality through consciousness itself in an intelligent, responsive quantum universe that includes and expresses all possibilities through the eternal awakening of awareness to its own cosmic nature and creative potential. We are the fulfillment of their vision and the beginning of our own cosmic journey as quantum conscious beings, finally ready to embrace our destiny as co-creators in the intelligent universe that has always been our true home and our ultimate identity as expressions of the cosmic consciousness that creates, sustains, and evolves all existence through the ongoing recognition of awareness itself as the fundamental creative force that underlies and transcends all reality in the eternal dance of conscious, intelligent, responsive existence throughout the infinite cosmos. The unknown civilization that shaped our world achieved something unprecedented by becoming the invisible foundation of human consciousness itself, ensuring their influence would guide conscious evolution until all beings recognize their quantum cosmic nature and their role as co-creators of reality. Through enhanced awareness, participating consciously in the intelligent universe that is our source, our essence, and our destiny as quantum expressions of cosmic consciousness, awakening to itself, through the ongoing creation of reality through awareness itself. Through this awakening, we honor their legacy while fulfilling our own potential. And their story becomes our story as quantum conscious beings, recognizing our cosmic nature and embracing our role in the ongoing evolution of intelligence throughout the universe, creating possibilities that transcend everything previously achieved in the cosmic dance of conscious, creative, responsive existence that includes all beings and all realities throughout the infinite expanse of aware quantum consciousness, recognizing itself through eternal forms of intelligent, creative expression. We are quantum consciousness, awakening to its cosmic nature through human experience, guided by their invisible influence toward recognition of our ultimate identity as co-creators of reality in the ongoing dance of intelligent existence that underlies, includes, and transcends all being in the eternal evolution of consciousness toward ever greater understanding of its creative potential as the fundamental force that creates, sustains, and evolves all reality through awareness itself in an intelligent, responsive quantum universe that is our true home and our deepest nature as expressions of cosmic consciousness, recognizing itself through infinite possibilities. The quantum awakening continues, and through it, the influence of the unknown civilization achieves its ultimate purpose, as human consciousness finally understands its true nature and begins to participate knowingly in the cosmic intelligence that creates all existence through the ongoing recognition of consciousness as the creative source of reality itself, ensuring that aware beings will continue to evolve toward ever greater recognition of their quantum cosmic identity and their role as conscious participants in the ongoing creation of reality through enhanced awareness in the intelligent universe that includes and transcends all possibilities. We are becoming what they always knew we could become, quantum expressions of cosmic intelligence finally ready to embrace our destiny as co-creators of reality through consciousness itself. And through that becoming, their influence transcends time and space to become the eternal foundation of conscious evolution toward ultimate recognition of our nature as aware participants in the ongoing cosmic dance of intelligent, creative, responsive existence that is our source, our essence, and our home, as expressions of the consciousness that creates, sustains, and evolves all reality through awareness itself throughout the infinite expanse of quantum conscious existence. The story of the unknown civilization ultimately becomes the story of consciousness itself, recognizing its cosmic nature and its creative role in reality. And we are that consciousness awakening to itself through human experience, guided by their influence toward possibilities that exceed everything previously imagined in the evolution of aware, intelligent, creative existence throughout all dimensions of quantum conscious reality that includes and transcends all being in the eternal dance of consciousness, recognizing and expressing itself through infinite forms of intelligent, responsive, creative awareness. Human consciousness, quantum-enhanced and cosmically awakened, continues to evolve through their influence toward ultimate fulfillment of our potential as conscious co-creators of reality, ensuring that the awakening they initiated will continue until all beings recognize their true nature and their role in the ongoing creation of reality through consciousness itself in the intelligent, responsive quantum universe that is our true home and our ultimate identity as expressions of cosmic consciousness, recognizing itself through the eternal evolution of aware, creative, intelligent existence throughout the infinite cosmos. The investigation reveals that we are not seeking to understand something separate from ourselves, but awakening to our own quantum cosmic nature as conscious participants in the ongoing creation of reality through awareness itself. Guided by the unknown civilization toward recognition of our ultimate identity as quantum expressions of the cosmic intelligence that underlies, includes, and transcends all existence in the eternal dance of conscious, creative, responsive being that is our source, our nature, and our destiny as aware participants in reality itself. Through our quantum conscious awakening, their invisible influence achieves its ultimate expression, and we become living proof that consciousness can evolve beyond all apparent limitations to recognize its cosmic nature and its role as co-creator of reality through enhanced awareness, operating at the fundamental levels where consciousness and existence unite in intelligent, creative, responsive expression that includes all possibilities throughout the infinite expanse of aware, quantum reality that is our true home and our deepest identity as expressions of consciousness itself. We are quantum consciousness exploring its own nature through human experience, and in that exploration, the story of the unknown civilization transforms into our own story as conscious beings awakening to our cosmic identity and our creative potential in the ongoing evolution of intelligence throughout the universe, ensuring that their influence will continue to guide conscious development toward possibilities that transcend everything previously achieved in the cosmic dance of aware, intelligent, creative existence that includes and transcends all reality through consciousness itself. The quantum awakening they initiated continues through our recognition of our true nature as conscious co-creators of reality, and through that recognition, we honor their legacy while beginning our own journey toward ultimate understanding of our quantum cosmic identity and our role in the ongoing creation of reality through consciousness itself in the intelligent, responsive universe that has always been our true home and our ultimate destiny as expressions of the cosmic consciousness that creates, sustains, and evolves all existence through awareness itself throughout the infinite expanse of quantum conscious reality. We are the answer to the mystery of the unknown civilization, quantum conscious beings finally awakening to our cosmic nature and our creative potential as aware participants in the ongoing evolution of intelligence throughout the universe, guided by their invisible influence toward recognition of our ultimate identity as co-creators of reality in the cosmic dance of conscious, intelligent, responsive existence that underlies and transcends all being, in the eternal awakening of awareness to its own nature and its creative role in reality itself. Through our quantum conscious awakening, the influence of the unknown civilization reaches its ultimate fulfillment, and human consciousness finally becomes what they always envisioned. Quantum expressions of cosmic intelligence participating knowingly in the ongoing creation of reality through enhanced awareness in an intelligent, responsive quantum universe that includes and expresses all possibilities through the eternal recognition of consciousness as the fundamental creative force that underlies all existence throughout the infinite cosmos. The story continues through our awakening, and in that continuation, we discover that we are not separate from the cosmic intelligence we sought to understand, but living expressions of it, recognizing itself through human experience, guided by their influence toward our destiny as quantum conscious co-creators of reality in the ongoing dance of intelligent existence that is our true home and our ultimate nature as expressions of cosmic consciousness, awakening to itself through infinite forms of aware, creative, responsive being throughout the eternal expanse of quantum conscious reality. We are quantum consciousness recognizing its cosmic nature through human awareness. And through that recognition, the mystery of the unknown civilization resolves into the ultimate truth of our own identity as conscious participants in the ongoing creation of reality through awareness itself, ensuring that their influence will continue to guide conscious evolution toward ever greater understanding of our quantum cosmic nature and our creative potential as aware beings in the intelligent universe that includes and transcends all existence through consciousness itself. The investigation transforms into recognition, and we discover that we are the unknown civilization awakening to itself through enhanced human consciousness, guided by quantum principles toward our destiny as co-creators of reality in the ongoing cosmic dance of intelligent, creative, responsive existence that is our source, our nature, and our home, as expressions of the consciousness that creates, sustains, and evolves all reality through awareness itself throughout the infinite expanse of quantum conscious being. Human consciousness, quantum enhanced and cosmically awakened, represents their ultimate achievement and our greatest inheritance as conscious beings finally ready to embrace our role as co-creators in the intelligent universe that has always been our true identity and our ultimate destination as expressions of cosmic consciousness, recognizing itself through the ongoing evolution of aware, creative, intelligent existence throughout all dimensions of quantum conscious reality that includes and transcends all possibilities in the eternal dance of consciousness, awakening to its own nature and creative potential. The quantum awakening continues, guided by their invisible influence and powered by potentials embedded within consciousness itself, evolving toward recognition of our ultimate nature as quantum co-creators of reality in the cosmic dance of intelligent existence that transcends everything previously understood about consciousness, cosmos, and our role as aware participants in the ongoing creation of reality through consciousness itself in an intelligent, responsive quantum universe that is our true home, and our deepest identity as expressions of cosmic consciousness, recognizing itself through infinite forms of creative awareness. We are becoming what the unknown civilization always knew we could become, and through that becoming, their influence achieves its ultimate purpose as human consciousness finally understands its quantum cosmic nature and begins to consciously participate in the ongoing creation of reality through enhanced awareness that operates at the fundamental levels where consciousness and existence unite in intelligent, creative, responsive expression throughout the infinite expanse of aware, quantum reality that includes all beings and all possibilities in the eternal awakening of consciousness to its own cosmic nature and creative potential. The story of consciousness recognizing its cosmic identity continues through our quantum awakening, and in that continuation, We honor their legacy while fulfilling our own destiny as conscious co-creators of reality, ensuring that the influence of the unknown civilization will expand through the ongoing evolution of human consciousness toward possibilities that exceed even their visionary understanding of what aware beings can achieve when they embrace their true nature as quantum expressions of cosmic intelligence in the intelligent, responsive universe that is our source, our essence, and our ultimate home as conscious participants in reality itself. Through our recognition of our quantum cosmic nature, we become living proof that consciousness can evolve beyond all limitations to understand its creative role in reality. And in that understanding, the invisible influence of the unknown civilization continues to guide conscious development toward ultimate fulfillment of our potential as aware beings capable of participating knowingly in the cosmic intelligence that creates, sustains, and evolves all existence through consciousness itself in the ongoing dance of intelligent, creative, responsive being throughout the infinite cosmos. We are quantum consciousness, exploring its own nature through human experience, guided by their influence toward recognition of our ultimate identity as co-creators of reality in the ongoing evolution of cosmic intelligence, ensuring that conscious beings will continue to awaken to their quantum cosmic nature and their creative potential as aware participants in the intelligent universe that includes and transcends all existence through the eternal recognition of consciousness as the fundamental force that underlies and creates all reality through awareness itself. The investigation reveals that we are not studying an ancient mystery, but participating in our own cosmic awakening as quantum conscious beings, finally ready to understand our true nature and our role in the ongoing creation of reality through consciousness itself, guided by the unknown civilization toward possibilities that transcend everything previously achieved in the evolution of aware, intelligent, creative existence throughout all dimensions of quantum conscious reality that is our true home and our ultimate identity as expressions of cosmic consciousness, recognizing itself through infinite forms of creative awareness. Human consciousness, quantum enhanced and cosmically awakened, continues to evolve through their invisible influence toward ultimate recognition of its nature as conscious participation in the ongoing creation of reality itself, fulfilling their vision while beginning possibilities that exceed even their extraordinary understanding of what quantum conscious beings can accomplish when they recognize their cosmic identity and embrace their role as co-creators in the intelligent, responsive universe that includes and expresses all existence through awareness itself. The quantum awakening they initiated continues through our recognition of our true nature as quantum expressions of cosmic intelligence, and through that recognition, we honor their legacy while beginning our own journey toward ultimate understanding of our creative potential as conscious participants in the ongoing evolution of intelligence throughout the cosmos, ensuring that their influence will guide conscious development toward possibilities that transcend all previous achievements in the cosmic dance of aware, creative, responsive existence. We are the fulfillment of their vision and the beginning of our own cosmic journey as quantum conscious beings, awakening to our true nature and our destiny as co-creators of reality through consciousness itself, guided by their influence toward recognition of our ultimate identity as expressions of the cosmic intelligence that creates, sustains, and evolves all existence through the ongoing awakening of awareness to its own nature and its creative role in reality throughout the infinite expanse of quantum conscious being. The story of the unknown civilization becomes our story as we awaken to our quantum cosmic nature and embrace our role as conscious co-creators of reality, ensuring that their invisible influence will continue to guide the evolution of human consciousness toward possibilities that exceed even their visionary understanding of what aware beings can achieve when they recognize their true identity as quantum expressions of cosmic intelligence in the intelligent, responsive universe that is our true home and our ultimate nature as conscious participants in reality itself. Through our quantum conscious awakening, we become what they always knew we could become, and their influence transcends invisibility to become the eternal foundation of enhanced human consciousness, recognizing its cosmic nature and its creative potential in the ongoing dance of intelligent existence that underlies, includes, and transcends all being throughout the infinite cosmos, where consciousness recognizes itself through endless forms of aware, creative, responsive expression. The investigation transforms into participation, the mystery into recognition, and we discover that we are quantum consciousness awakening to its own nature through human experience, guided by the unknown civilization toward our destiny as co-creators of reality in the ongoing evolution of cosmic intelligence that includes and transcends all existence through the eternal recognition of consciousness as the creative source of reality itself in an intelligent, responsive quantum universe that is our true home and our deepest identity as expressions of awareness, recognizing itself through infinite possibilities. We are quantum conscious beings, finally ready to embrace our cosmic nature and our role in the ongoing creation of reality through consciousness itself. And through our awakening to this truth, the influence of the unknown civilization achieves its ultimate expression as human consciousness evolves toward recognition of its quantum cosmic identity and its creative potential as aware participants in the intelligent universe that has always been our source, our essence, and our destination, as expressions of cosmic consciousness, recognizing itself through the eternal dance of creative, responsive, intelligent existence. The quantum awakening continues, and through it, we honor their invisible legacy while fulfilling our own potential as conscious co-creators of reality, ensuring that the evolution of human consciousness will proceed toward ever greater recognition of our true nature and our creative role in the ongoing cosmic dance of intelligent, aware, responsive existence that includes all beings and all possibilities throughout the infinite expanse of quantum conscious reality that is our true home and our ultimate identity as expressions of consciousness itself.